Imagine being part of the world's elite and getting turned into barbecue in the blink of an eye. A colossal explosion that simply wiped the strongest hunters off the map, all because they made the fatal mistake of challenging the wrong boss. When a bizarre game merged with our reality, the major guilds took absolute control of everything. Meanwhile, our protagonist, Su Yang, awakened the most garbage and useless class in the system, a mere warrior, being humiliated, trampled on, and looked down upon with pure disgust by the elite. He quickly realized that this new world was only for the strong, but right at rock bottom, a holographic screen lit up, binding the insane part-time boss system. Instead of hunting, he took over the body of a level 99 Dragon King. His mission? Send players back to the lobby and steal all their loot, crushing the elite and farming an endless mountain of XP. He evolved to an absurdly overpowered stellar level, until the global system ranked him as the world's new supreme boss. Want to know how a rejected nobody turned into the monarch of destruction? Then settle into your seat and don't blink, because all hell is about to break loose. On the eve of the year 2076, a game merged with reality. Obviously, it wasn't a cute game, but one of those really bizarre ones. With this, monsters launched an attack that almost wiped out the population. But along with the destruction, miraculous divine talents emerged. That's when our troop of hunters stepped up to save the day. Right as the bat, they became huge stars who constantly needed to level up. And that is exactly where our story shifts to the Hunter's Plaza. Right in the middle of the crowd, we see a boy climbing the stairs looking completely defeated, showing pure disappointment. That right there is our MC, Su Yang, awakening the Trash Warrior class. With 12 strength and 10 speed and spirit. To make matters worse, Warrior is the most useless job compared to the rest. Leaving the plaza after awakening, some guys already pull up to annoy our MC. Soon, a jerk approaches, joking that a rookie warrior is just an ordinary person. Swatting the air, our boy asks where that annoying fly came from. Next, he congratulates his classmate Angfei for awakening as an ice mage, but then he acts crazy, challenging the skinny mage to a physical endurance test. At this, Angfei thinks Su Yang is brave for picking a fight with a trash class. However, someone shouts the mage's name and tells him to quickly look away. Being super curious, the MC also turns his neck to see what the gossip is about. To everyone's surprise, it was the Spirit Hunt Guild team, the cream of the crop. Basically, it's one of the most overpowered rank A guilds in the city. Noticing the cocky leader, a 4th rank archer pushing level 95, quickly the boy recognizes the crazy guy as the vice leader of this famous guild. Wasting no time, the opportunist Ingfei jumps in asking about recruitment. Even with the team's woman trying to block him, the vice leader asks the kids' class. Full of pride, Angfei reveals he's an ice mage and instantly gets a VIP card. On the other side, our MC is left open-jawed at how easy the selection process was. Seeing this, the rest of the crowd begs for a spot, but the woman gives a loud no, just warning that archers can try their luck at the branch, dismissing the rest. Brazenly trying his luck, the MC asks if warriors would have any chance. As expected, the woman looks at Su Yang with pure contempt. Without saying a word, she simply turns her back and leaves the poor guy talking to himself. Taking this harsh reality check, he realizes that only raw power matters in this world. After all, if smaller guilds reject warriors, imagine the elite of the elite. Meanwhile, a random guy freaks out with joy, talking about the Dragon's Lair raid. Quickly, the gossip catches the MC's attention, and he asks about the dreaded lair, being the biggest S-rank dungeon in the city, a place with an absurd risk of getting wiped out, because players lose levels upon defeat, and if the bar hits 0, things get ugly. Besides that, a game over costs rare items, and the boss is the dreaded Black Dragon. But since the guild has 4th transformation hunters, maybe they stand a chance there. Hearing this, the boy gets bummed out, confirming that this world is only for the strong. And at rock bottom, the system appears, binding the part-time boss system. Totally lost, Su Yang understands nothing and thinks it's some server hack, left with a huge doubt about what this so-called part-time boss could be. Then the system explains that he will act as the big boss to crush the players. So, by sending players to the lobby, he gets the unlucky guy's experience and items. Faced with this insane proposal, will our MC agree to this madness? Calculating the risk, a raid has from 4 to 100 players focused on the boss. If he manages to solo this crowd, the reign of experience would make him super strong. Cutting the thought short, the system slaps a countdown for him to accept the chance. Startled by the pressure, the MC needs to act fast, with only 5 seconds left. With nowhere to run, he stretches his finger toward the holographic panel, fearing getting killed like a dungeon monster, but refusing to be stepped on by society. Weighing it all, this boss side gig was his only way out of being a nobody. So, it was time to hit start on this dangerous game. Right after confirming, the system shines on the screen and the transfer begins. Arriving in the dungeon, the boy already starts praying for a very overpowered boss. Seconds later, opening his eyes in his new form, noticing right away that it worked, seeing the place full of high-level monsters, but finding the beasts awfully small until a minion approaches calling him king. That's when the MC realizes he took over the body of Athos, the level 99 Dragon King. Soon, the system pops up, confirming his role as the Black Dragon of the Black Flame Wings. Left in shock, Su Yang needs a moment to process his new form. But soon a giant new status window steals all his attention. Looking at the panel, he finds out he has 5 million health and over 3,000 strength points. Noting that a level 99 human would never have these stats and resistances. Plus the area of effect skills that guarantee victory against any hunter in a one-on-one. Taking a deep breath, feeling infinite power flowing through every scale of his new body, bringing an incredible and completely refreshing sense of superiority. Thinking that, by crushing players and keeping up the farm, real-world success is guaranteed. Suddenly, the minions ask him to calm down as the MC was crushing his own allies. He then orders the troops to rise and calls them useless, fully embracing the boss persona. Sucking up. The minion says the Dragon King has all this power even without fully maturing. Intrigued, the MC deduces that monsters can also evolve much further. Then, the giant dragon's gaze focuses on a cage left in the corner of the hall. Seeing the elf princess Lilith trapped inside, shaking with fear of the huge lizard. Playing tough, she demands to be freed, or the elf cavalry would invade the lair. Being his first time seeing another race, the boy stares at the elf with a curious face. But the moment is interrupted when a strong fluctuation makes the entire lair shake. Smiling from ear to ear, the little princess thinks humans came to play the heroes, finding it weird that the dragon just stared at her without growling. But she brushes off the madness. Looking at the portal, the MC notices the Spirit Hunt Guild arrived pretty fast. Sweating bullets. He wonders if the overpowered hunters has some trick to use against him. Just in case, he activates a sensory skill called Dragon's Eye. Surprisingly, the radar lets him hear the opposing team shouting with motivation. Expanding his vision, he notices that many have passed level 95. From the looks of it, the crew's confidence is through the roof, and they're super hyped for battle. Soon the elite squad bumps into the first line of defense of flying wolves. But the guild leader is in a rush and doesn't want to waste time on weak monsters. Without stalling, he orders the tanks to charge full speed ahead for the real fight. Watching it all from the front row, the MC observes the human team's strength and synergy. Seeing all this power, Su Yang decides to stop being a spectator and get his hands dirty. Quickly, the hunters clear 10% of the area without losing anyone from the team. Knowing they are pros, our MC decides to bump up the dungeon's difficulty. Out of nowhere, a true freak of nature drops from the ceiling right into the enemy formation. Being the elite dragon warrior, carrying an absurd 100,000 health points. Giving the team no time to blink, the giant monster charges full force at the invaders. Spooked by the speed, the leader thinks the creature used teleportation. Quickly, the team's tank jumps in front, raising his shield to block the hit. Meanwhile, the vice leader tells them to stay calm, already charging his attack to cover his ally, sending the creature back to the lobby with a dead center shot. Then Su Yang realizes the guy's strength requires more than a single dragon, grabbing several giant monsters with a single hand in a terrifying way, throwing all the creatures into combat without any mercy or pity, leaving the guild soldiers totally lost with the surprise attack. In this tense moment, the vice leader quickly asks the boss what they should do, yelling fearlessly. The president warns that monsters are no reason to panic, barking orders quickly to organize the formation and keep the tanks up front. Seeing this, the MC realizes the invaders are extremely stubborn about wanting a fight, but this crew's current strength isn't nearly enough against our main guy, leaving the big question of whether they are hiding an ace up their sleeve. Right then, the boy notices the hunters change their route in the dungeon, deciding to do a quick check to see what's so interesting over there. It being the location of the Dragon Slayer's heart, which nullifies this race's talents. Basically, the opposing team found the perfect way to counter the MC, running a serious risk of getting wiped out if the hunters grab that artifact. With all this flying movement, the elf needs to hold on tight so she doesn't fall, feeling completely confused by the huge lizard's sudden attitude. After all, he was bailing from the lair way ahead of schedule. Apparently, the humans were already super informed about the item's existence, flying really fast, knowing he can't let those wannabe heroes get there. Cutting the scene back to the perspective of the invader group. Complaining about the resource drain, the vice leader thinks they got scammed by the pavilion, but the guildmaster denies it, stating that the strategy cost an arm and a leg, warning that they are right next to the lair and any noise will wake the boss. insisting that the dragon is dumb and only wakes up if they attack its home directly. Laughing it up, the team thinks they will mop the floor and take the elf as a bonus. Suddenly, the squad notices some suspicious monsters approaching. Thinking they were just small monsters, the leader finds their presence there weird. Squinting his eyes, the vice leader realizes the size of the trouble is colossal. Terrified, the subordinate fears it's exactly what he's thinking. And to the crew's sorrow, the dungeon boss himself decided to show his face. Completely in shock, the master refuses to believe the monster's appearance. Without a second thought, the vice leader blurts out that they definitely got played. Desperate, a member asks if they are going to fight right there without the lifesaver item. Going into total panic, he immediately suggests waving the white flag and running away. Seeing the despair from above, our MC gears up to send everyone to the lobby. Fired up, he already charges his most brutal skill. But, unexpectedly, someone has the guts to launch an attack against him. It's the guild leader pounding his chest and warning that no one is allowed to retreat. Screaming orders to defeat the Black Dragon no matter what, for the rewards. As expected, our boy didn't like this nonsense talk one bit. But since they want to fight, the big boss accepts the challenge and tells everyone to bring it on, starting the brawl with the group right next to the Dragon Slayer's tomb, trying their luck to buy time for someone to run and fetch the lifesaver item. However, the MC already turned on rage mode and began his crushing attack, leaving the doubt if anyone is left in one piece after this absurd beatdown. Keeping in mind the boy isn't spending mana, just using his raw brute strength, focusing entirely on defense to make sure his health bar stays full. But right then, the hunters get ticked off and throw all their combos at him, creating a colossal explosion with the brutal damage of this joint attack. Hyped up, the leader orders the second wave to shave 5% off the beast's health. But when the smoke clears, it dawns on them that the plan went terribly wrong, since all their strongest attacks combined dealt a mere 10,000 damage. Out of options, the leader tells everyone to hold on, thinking the boss wouldn't use heavy hits, so they keep attacking. But the boy already thinks it's all an endless bore. Even with their strategy going down the drain, the squad won't quit swinging. However, this whole circus has its seconds numbered to end. Flapping his wings in the sky, the MC starts charging the dragon's roar. And then, my friends, it's flames and chaos everywhere. Seeing all the wreckage, the game really was game over for the hunters, making it clear that a rank A guild doesn't even work as a warm-up for our MC. Desperate, the master tries to understand the boss's attack, noticing something very wrong, yelling for everyone to get up, thinking the dragon would be paralyzed after the magic. Except the main guy doesn't seem to have any intention of getting paralyzed. Entering total panic mode, the leader can't accept that the dragon is still completely fine. Giving them no time, our MC opens his mouth and prepares to send out some friendly fire. Smiling, he activates the black flame breath, turning the entire guild into barbecue. Before heading back to the lobby, the leader still swears revenge like a cartoon villain. Right then, the system pops up announcing victory and starting the level conversion. From there on, Su Yang starts leveling up mercilessly. His jaw drops as the level goes up endlessly and the bar almost glitches out. Then the system announces a massive point gain, jumping straight to level 20, hitting the cap before a class change, still hoarding 430,000. Looking around, he spots the mountain of glowing items on the ground and notes the high level. They are super overpowered items with 3 diamond tier and the rest solid platinum. Even the vice leader's sick bow dropped, which will fetch good money if flipped. Totally thrilled, the boy keeps digging through the items like a kid in a toy store. But in the middle of the inventory, something with a different glow catches his eye. It's an unlimited gem, capable of breaking the level restrictions of any gear. Focusing on the flaming sword, perfect for a level 20 to slice everyone up from then on. But the clock is ticking with 5 minutes left and the MC wants his new class right away. Therefore, he doesn't drag it out and clicks the return to base button. With that done, the system fires up the engines and starts the transformation process. It's a great teleportation, dropping the boy straight into the comfort of his home, jumping for joy in his room, thankful to have actually reached level 20. Now it's time to assign points, dumping 100 into strength and 50 into spirit. Wrapping up the stats, the boy's body unleashes a terrifying aura explosion, making a mess in the room and showing he'll need to keep his excitement in check. Noticing the mess, he sees it's late and decides to sleep to change classes tomorrow. The next day he's going to hit up the temple to grab the quest and change his class. As the sun rises, the scene cuts straight to the funeral vibe at the Spirit Hunt Guild. Through the halls, the receptionist wonders why the boss returned so fast from the mission, scared to see the leader's level tank, proving the whole team was wiped out, with the vice leader dropping to level 86 and losing his main weapon. On the flip side, a sidekick also grumbles about losing his diamond tier boots. Foaming at the mouth, the leader rants about buying fake strategies from the pavilion, promising this won't slide and swearing to get some answers from those guys. Leaving the whining aside, the story travels straight to the Nanshan orphanage gates. Receiving a package for Su Yang, the old man is shocked by so much money all at once. As always, the boy sent a whole lot of stuff. Right then, a clumsy kid ends up bumping into the boxes, making the entire pile collapse right toward the poor little girl. Luckily, a mysterious hand appears out of nowhere to save her, which is, obviously, our beloved MC. Soon the kids run toward him, calling the boy their big brother. Curious, the old man asks about his power, and the MC reveals he made 60 million. Worried, the old guy tells him to be careful, but the boy promises he has it all under control. All because rookies tend to lose levels and get wiped out real fast if they mess up. Calming the old man down, the MC tells him to chill, claiming the monsters are obedient, saying his goodbyes to hit the temple for his class change, leaving the old guy totally confused. Arriving in the hall, he already hears gossip about the Spirit Hunt Guild's defeat. Walking around there, our boy keeps his ears open, listening to every single detail. Apparently, the guild only fought the dragon because they bought insider info, leaked by the pavilion, raising the question if they're gonna raid the dungeon themselves. Just then, that nuisance Wang Fei pops up asking what the MC is doing there again. Spitting venom, the preppy kid mocks that no guild wants to take the boy in, acting like he owns the place. The jerk warns that today he's gonna teach him a lesson. Seeing this little show, the MC finds the guy too annoying and decides to teach him some manners. Surprisingly, the jerk uses his own face to cushion the main guy's giant slap. Keeping his cool, the boy makes up that he only hit him to shoo a fly off his face. With that gentle touch, our boy shaves off 5% of the crazy guy's health. Flexing a bit, Su Yang points out there are also little flies on each of the goons' faces. Quickly, the guys run away from there, screaming that they got the message loud and clear. Right at that moment, someone appears behind the MC, clapping at the scene. It's a temple guide praising the boy and offering to lend him a hand. Wasting no time, he reveals he wants to change classes, and the lady asks him to follow her. On the inside, the guide tries to guess if the rookie kid is from some important family. After all, she had never seen such a young prodigy stepping foot in that place. Putting doubts aside, the two finally arrive at the process location. In front of a statue, the lady follows protocol and suggests a 3-star mission. However, our stubborn guy refuses the easy way out and aims straight for a 4-star. Trying to talk some sense, the guide warns that level 4 challenges are difficult. Nodding his head, the MC pretends he absorbed the warning perfectly. From the looks of it, the class change demands a pretty complicated practical exam. Soon the quest panel pops up on the screen, even showing a 5-star option. Curious, the boy turns to the guide and asks if the limit wasn't up to level 4. Explaining it all, the receptionist says that level 5 is an almost impossible mission, since they force folks to become elite so no one gets stuck at level 20. Then he figures out the quest is crazy, demanding he solo an army and crush a boss. But the 100 extra spirit points and the magic warrior title shine in his eyes. Giving her 2 cents again, the lady insists the 3-star mission is the safest. Thanking her for the tip, the boy gets a smile from the guide doing her job. The problem is, the poor girl has no idea the madman picked the 5-star mission. That being said, our main guy has exactly 72 hours to clean up the mess. In despair, the guide screams, asking if he really chose that challenge. Cutting her freak out short, he tells her to chill, promising he'll be right back. With all that confidence, our madman simply turns his back and marches to glory. Running after him, the guide asks someone to tell the priest about that crazy kid's audacity. Stepping onto the teleporter, he sees a maintenance warning, losing precious time. Taking back what he said, the boy claims he's in no rush to cook up his strategy. Suddenly, 2 girls appear right in the middle of the scene, being Xu Yang and Gu Xiao, from the famous rank B guild called Phantom Cloud. Quickly, Gu Xiao recognizes the boy, making her friend ask where she knows him from. Confirming the gossip, she says he's an old classmate who changed jobs alongside her, killing the mood. The loudspeaker announces that the portal is now cleared for use. Scared, the girl notices the dangerous destination the MC picked, but it was too late. Without a second thought, our adventurer walks through the dimensional rift. Barely giving him time to breathe, a rabid wolf already leaps full force right at him. But our boy is smelling that fresh XP, pulling off a last-second dodge. Totally surprised, the MC admits he wasn't expecting such a warm welcome. In the blink of an eye, the beast already chains another fatal strike with its incredible speed. However, it's obvious the main guy didn't go into the fight empty-handed. Being clever, he sold a good chunk of the loot, but kept some little gifts up his sleeve. By normal logic, his level wouldn't handle the weapon, but he used that blessed special gem, spending a mountain of stones on the workaround, leaving only 60 million in his wallet. Taking the loss, he figures he'll make the cash back by selling the bow to its original owner. Mocking in the middle of the brawl, the smart Alec activated a protection barrier scroll. Before the shield gets destroyed, the slit guy deactivates the magic on his own. Right after that, happily sliding his blade across the faces of all the monsters in the area, sweeping the region, taking out only 15 wolves. But the system demands at least 100. Noticing the slow pace, he throws his lore stone in the air, calling everyone to the slaughter. After a measly 5 minutes, you can already imagine the mess that formed right there. Focused on the farm, the boy wants to wipe them all out, using tricks to speed up the clearing. When the herd pounces, he snaps his fingers, activating the Baptism of Flame scroll, full of swagger, promising to wipe the mat in one fell swoop to settle the whole deal. With a bizarre amount of beasts, he resorts to his infinite stash of scrolls. At that moment, other teams in the jungle can't understand that whole firework festival. With monsters being hard to find, a hunter comments that the only beast flew right by, connecting the dots. One hunter figures out that some punk activated a lore stone. Boiling with rage, the group heads to the explosions to demand answers from the jerk, but hitting the brakes on their anger, they wonder if it's really worth starting trouble. Seeing the damage, the team concludes, the magic is the work of a level 30+ mage. Soon, common sense speaks louder, with one making an excuse and deciding to come back another day. After a while, the MC finishes the heavy cleaning, leaving only the boss to crush. Scoffing, the boy finds the 5-star mission easy even though he cheated a little bit. Later on, Su Yang clocks in straight at the supreme boss's lair, the dreaded Alpha Wolf King. Switching the view to the depths of the cave, the atmosphere changes completely. Inside, we see a level 23 trio who also dreams of sending the boss to the grave. Very delusional, they're already claiming victory and planning how to spend the Beast Core's fortune. Cutting the excitement, a group member asks for silence, warning about a visitor. Annoyed, the bald guy thinks it's a rival team, not suspecting that our MC is all alone. In his innocence, the rookie tries to warn them but takes a knock on the head from the leader for scaring the bait. Right in the middle of the argument, the ground starts shaking like a sudden earthquake. Ignoring the tremor, the kid keeps walking, but the ground wasn't shaking naturally. All of it being caused by the monumental Wolf King, snorting with hatred over the pack's massacre. Watching it all, the trio is clueless and rethinks the fight just from the beast's absurd aura. Blinded by greed, the leader refuses to run, claiming they can't lose this golden chance. At that exact moment though, he feels an absurd gust of wind slicing through the air. Taking a good look, it's simply our MC spinning and laying the smackdown with his sword. Believe it or not, that was all he needed to beat the super strong boss. Right after that, grabbing the crystal core that the chubby guy wanted so badly. With that, the MC decides to head back home like nothing ever happened. In a last attempt, the chubby guy walks up and shamelessly asks for the item, but our boy points his sword, remembering who tried to use him as bait. With zero mercy, he crushes the crystal and tells the jerk to go find his own. With that said, our boy walks away, leaving the chubby guy relieved he didn't get beat up. Meanwhile, the other goons can't believe the kid actually soloed the wolf all by himself. Back at the temple, the guy thinks he forgot something, but the MC says he's done. Obviously, the girl's jaw drops. After all, it was a grueling 5-star mission. She just can't believe the kid beat that insane challenge in only a few hours. Suspecting a cheat, she checks the system and confirms he did it all without a scratch. Keeping a straight face, our main guy just asks if he can change his class now. Quickly, the worker apologizes and asks the boy to follow her, thinking she was lucky to warn the high priestess about such an absurd talent. Admiring the MC, the girl thinks he's pretty cute and considers asking for his number. Getting back to work, she asks him to go to the statue and run the scan. Stepping up to it, the system's scanning process instantly kicks off. With the scan done, our boy feels a brutal energy rushing into his body, receiving the class advancement aura, which changes color based on the difficulty. Simply put, white is level 1, green is 2, blue is 3, and purple means 4 stars, earning the 5-star orange aura, granting a 25% boost to his stats. Raising his cap, he uses his saved experience and jumps straight to level 34. Wasting no time, he spends 210 stat points and gets super overpowered. Wrapping it up, the system hands over an epic book teaching the magic blade technique. It basically turns pure magic energy into a solid weapon for combat. Always in a rush, the boy tests out his incredible new skill right away, controlling the power with his mind. The weapon changes shape in combat and can even evolve. Grinning from ear to ear, Xu Yang thinks the 5-star mission was totally worth it. Congratulating the kid, the guide hears him ask for the extra perks she promised earlier. The worker quickly tries to check the rewards, but someone says there's no need. Surprising everyone, the high priestess shows up fully flaunting her massive blessings. Named by Ling, the beauty herself makes sure to explain the VIP perks. Taking a bow, the guide accepts she lost any chance she had with the handsome guy. Mentioning that this isn't the best spot, Bai says she's taking him to the VIP room. Staying super chill, our main guy just agrees with the beautiful lady's idea. In the blink of an eye, a massive teleportation spell pops up right behind him. Instantly, the boy appears straight in the VIP room right next to the gorgeous priestess. Before he can speak, Bai admits she only used a fraction of the statue's power for the spell, revealing that honestly it's been 10 years since anyone took on such a dangerous quest. Following the rules, he gets 10 million a month and a black gold discount card. Completely mind-blown that he just scored all these crazy perks at once. Explaining the fine print, Bai lets him know he's not forced to join a guild. However, the boy knows solo players are easy targets and backing would help a ton. But his real goal is to use the guild as a stepping stone to become the Grand Monarch. Getting straight to the point, he asks about guilds, and Bai suggests Spirit Hunt, which happens to be the exact rival guild he had just crushed in the lair. Playing it cool, the kid asks if there isn't another option on the menu. Spilling the details, the woman mentions the strong and low-key Cloud Clan, rivals to the Hunters. Finding the perfect excuse, the MC locks in that choice, leaving the priestess super confused. With that settled, she says she'll link his account to the system right away, but right before finishing up, she drops a detail. The Cloud Clan is strictly for women, but there's zero time to process it, and the scene already cuts to the clan's headquarters, showing the beautiful NU, level 85, groaning from boredom at the head desk. Apparently the names got mixed up since the level 99 leader is actually named Lin. Out of nowhere, adding to the mess, we see the little witch sneaking into the room. Then, the girl introduces the ice elementalist, finally revealing her real name. The talented member's real name is simply Shui Hien. Glancing at the system, the leader gets a huge jump scare from the screen, spotting the registry of a guy joining their exclusive all-girls guild out of nowhere. With that, the guild falls into total chaos, with the leader demanding answers to no avail. They suspect a glitch, but the leader knows it was a direct VIP referral from the temple. Instantly, everyone is left speechless seeing the newbie's 5-star class advancement, saying the boy's name out loud. Shui Qian recognizes him on the spot. Answering the boss, she recalls a rookie friend, but thinks there's no way it could be him. Right then, another member walks in announcing that Spirit Hunt just got wiped out. It's Mu Rong, level 95, swearing that everyone got sent to the lobby without mercy. Out of nowhere, the scene cuts to a super fancy lounge with an awesome view, keeping the gossip going, spilling that their rival's 10 billion sword blew up to pieces. Without a doubt, this whole combo of disasters left their rival spitting fire with rage. Bawling his eyes out like a kid, the swordsman swears eternal revenge against both of them. On the flip side, the master is also crying over the 10 billion dent in the guild's bank. Ticked off, the leader kicks his vice captain, ordering him to get off the floor right away. Hearing the gossip, the master thinks the auction was a total scam and goes looking for trouble. Meanwhile, at the rival guild, Mechanism swears they cleared the lair 5 times with that strategy. It's Zhou Tai, the level 110 strategist who stands by the tactic. Clapping back, Lei Shon swears he followed it to the letter and the boss changed its pattern randomly. Then, the level 103 assassin Lu Shi mocks them, calling everyone useless. Furious, the leader tells the brat to shut his mouth and watch his words carefully, except the assassin claps right back, telling the weaklings to hit the gym. To calm things down, the head of Mechanism defends the integrity of the guild's tactics. Because of that, the higher-ups plan a raid for tomorrow to test the scheme in practice. Quickly, a level 108 member also gives the green light for the plan. Right after, Zhu Wangzhen, level 104, agrees with the whole idea. Lastly, the cocky assassin agrees while waving his little knife around. But Arden, a mysterious big shot, walks in oozing a creepy black mist. Instantly, the boys draw their weapons without even realizing the huge threat. Quickly, they call for peace, introducing the weirdo as Mr. Shen Lu from headquarters. With zero manners, the skull-face guy demands a heads-up before they mess with the dragon. Trying to smooth things over, the strategist apologizes, but Shen Lu says he's tagging along tomorrow, being a much worse psycho, heading to the lair just to farm some free souls on the side. Scanning the squad, realizing that 5 elite veterans make up a truly absurd team, thinking that if his group gets wiped, they'll have to swallow their pride for mocking him, leaving this snake pit behind. Our scene cuts right back to the other side. Right as the bat, we see the MC ticked off by the guild chat filled with rumors about him. To save his mood, the system pings an astronomical bid for the sword he snagged at auction. Hearing that, our sly boy wastes no time and pops open the tab to check his balance. confirming the rumor with a force 14 billion, an amount he accepts right on the spot. Thanks to his card's perks, he skips the fees and walks away with almost 15 billion. Swimming in cash, he decides to take a breather, eagerly waiting for his next gig. Right as the clock strikes 7 in the morning, the real action finally kicks off. Then the system wakes the MC up, pinging that his side gauge cooldown is over. Wasting zero time, our boy hops out of bed fully pumped and ready to go. Taking a quick look, he can already see exactly who he's going up against today. Whatever their goal is just a small squad of 6 people he'll crush with ease. So with that said, let our MC's second shift as a dungeon boss officially begin. Looking down below, he notices the dungeon reset and the monsters are back on their feet. Turning his head, the curious elf girl immediately asks what he's up to this time around. Thinking about it, he finds the elf a pretty cute pet, but wonders how she even got caught. Focusing on the squad, the system already handed all their stats to the boy on a silver platter. Being way stronger than Lei Shan, he just needs to stop them from grabbing the Dragon Slayer item. With that in mind, the boss sends his soldiers to handle the invaders and test their strength. However, he gives a strict order for one specific minion to stay behind with him. Down below, Lei Shan finds their easy progress fishy and wonders if he messed something up. Right at that moment, the group's assassin triggers his radar and senses a really weird vibe. Suddenly, a massive curtain of dust starts kicking up way out on the horizon. It's all caused by a huge horde of monsters charging full speed from every single direction. Panicking, Lei Shan says the setup is the same, but the beasts have multiplied like crazy. Acting fast, the leader decides to hold off the elites while the crew wipes the smaller mobs. Sticking to the plan, the assassin instantly unloads his shadow slash right onto the enemies. Right on cue, the monk pops his barrier and the saint focuses on buffing up the team. To finish the combo, Jotai slams an absurdly brutal strike straight into the ground. After a few solid minutes of brawling, the area is fully cleared and everything is handled. Watching from his VIP seat, the MC figures he's going to have to do the dirty work himself. Catching everyone off guard, he just walks away, leaving his minions completely clueless. Even the elf is super confused by the boy acting so weird and moving way too early. Back with Lei Shan, he feels totally relieved seeing the pavilion's true firepower. Healing the vibe, Shenlun spits some venom, calling the undefeated guild an absolute joke. Deep down, the clan leader agrees, but he knows perfectly well that their strategy has flaws. Furious, the old man warns that if the brat questions him again, he'll turn into his test subject. Trying to cool things down, Jotai begs the master to stop scaring off the clients. Gulping hard, Lei Shan just waits to see if they'll still be laughing when they face the black dragon. Speak of the devil, Gesser decides to crash the party at that exact moment. Startled, the whole group is left baffled by the boss attacking way ahead of schedule. Focused on not messing up, the strategist orders everyone to gear up for a heavy fight. With their blood pumping, the group attacks the dragon, aiming straight for its weak spots. Shrugging off the hits, the MC just laughs, since his damage reduction talent blocks it all. Noticing the barrier, Zhu Tai yells for the squad to keep hammering away at the beast. However, does this squad even have what it takes to predict our boss's very next move? Showing who's boss, our MC switches targets and zeroes in on slicing up the group's backline. Luckily, Jotai pops out of nowhere and blocks the strike, saving his team's skin. Taking advantage of the opening, the Shadow Assassin instantly triggers his special move. Surprising everyone, Lucy actually manages to deal some solid damage with his Shadow Thrust. Only catch is, the poor assassin almost got sent to the lobby from the nasty counterattack. Collapsing to the floor, his allies patch him up, saying his survival was an absolute miracle. Yep, the Saitama-looking bald guy's side hustle is acting as the squad's dedicated healer. Puzzled, the leader wonders why the dragon fired off a special move so early in the brawl, sparking a huge mystery, but our MC isn't giving them a single second to catch their breath. Hovering above, the MC figures that barrier is their final trump card and they'll drop dead soon. Worried sick, Jotai warns that the dragon is smart and is picking apart their weaknesses. Tired of just watching, the old guy stands up whining that he's gonna have to carry the squad. Wasting no time, the geezer immediately begins channeling a dark necromancy spell. Proving you fight fire with fire, he decides to summon another giant freak of nature. Believe it or not, the crazy guy pulled a second dragon right out of his hat for the arena, leaving the big question of whether this newly summoned beast can actually stand up to the MC. Full of swagger, Shenlun gives the green light for his pet dragon to charge full throttle. Right after that, the epic clash of titans finally explodes. Showing off his sharp reflexes, the MC is the very first to land a heavy blow on the creature. From the sheer force of the impact, the enemy beast gets sent flying straight backward. Catching its balance, the zombie dragon doesn't back down and charges up its own skill. To match the energy, our MC instantly fires back with his brutal breath of annihilation. Immediately, the clash of pure power sets off a colossal explosion across the whole area, leaving the team totally shocked to see the summon actually going toe-to-toe with the boss. Scanning the fight, the boy notes the enemy's strength, but he hasn't even used half his power yet. Deciding to end it right there, he fires another blast and sends the enemy straight back to the lobby, totally disappointed. Our main guy admits he was expecting way more from that creature, but hold your horses because it looks like this showdown isn't over just yet. In a wild surprise attack, the dragon's corpse manages to grab our boy's foot. Smirking, Shenlun thinks it's hilarious the boss actually thought the fight was already over. Giving absolutely zero time to react, the beast starts charging a point-blank blast, landing a direct hit, wiping a massive 59,000 damage off our MC's health bar. To make matters worse, the dragon keeps attacking, draining nearly 20% of the boss's HP. Seeing things go south, the MC hits back fast, so he doesn't risk catching a one-way ticket to the lobby. Looking for an out, he flaps his giant wings and takes to the sky to catch a quick breather. Luckily, as he gains altitude, he spots a huge flaw. The zombie dragon has no idea how to fly. Seeing his pet get stuck on the ground, Shenlun tells his summon to start firing ranged attacks. Following the master's orders, the zombie dragon starts blasting fireballs straight into the sky. Laughing off the attempts from up high, he knows those shots won't ever connect from that distance. Plus, that leaves the old geezer summoner completely wide open down on the dungeon floor. Realizing he screwed up, Shenlun desperately calls his dragon back to protect him, but the old fool just walks straight into the nasty little trap our MC had waiting. Using the enemy's own momentum, the boss hurls the dead dragon right on top of its master. Thanks to pure luck and a high health pool, the old geezer somehow survived with 20% HP. Even so, the sheer damage from the impact was colossal and left the necromancer totally dazed. Swooping down to check out the damage up close, the boy keeps an eye on their movements. Then he notices the rest of the crew rushing in to try and save the squashed old man. Coughing up dust, the necromancer asks about the assassin, who should be back any minute now. Instantly it clicks for the MC, who realizes the assassin went off to steal the special item. Soon the squad cheers at some smoke on the horizon, thinking it's their buddy returning with the prize. However, our boy flashes a sarcastic smirk, knowing they're celebrating a little too early. After all, the one stepping out of the shadows is the minion he ordered to stay behind earlier. Approaching the boss, the minion reports he snatched the heart and finished his mission. Actually, our MC already planned to swipe the item the second that team set foot in the dungeon. Seeing this, Joe Tai goes into absolute shock as his brilliant plan goes completely down the drain. Dripping with confidence, our MC celebrates pulling off such a massive big brain move beforehand, but as soon as he touches the recovered item, a completely bizarre reaction triggers out of nowhere. A massive energy explodes, and the system announces the realm is about to undergo a crazy mutation. Rapidly, the dungeon's status skyrockets, jumping straight from Diamond Tier to the Stellar class, being so powerful that the shockwaves were felt all the way at the city's distant temple. Spooked, the priestess feels the aura leaking out, completely shocked by the real-world tremors. In that very moment, feeling that something truly colossal is about to go down, cutting the scene right back to the chaotic inside of the dungeon. Inside, the crew loses their minds, never imagining the dungeon would just randomly evolve. Then our MC fully morphs into the stellar tier black dragon known as Athos. Soon the system confirms he hit level 100, gaining massive stats and a brand new skill. Checking out his stats, the kid realizes he now has an absurd 6 million health points. It's the Infernal Prison skill, which instantly sends anyone who tries to escape straight to the lobby. Confused, our MC figures out that the Dragon Slayer's heart is what triggered his insane evolution. Piecing it together, that cursed item was nerfing the dragon, but now his true strength is back. Checking himself out, the kid admits he doesn't get it fully, but he's really digging the new power. Suddenly, the sound of someone approaching quickly catches our boy's attention. It's Lu Shi, super pissed off after flipping the whole tomb upside down without finding the item. But taking a closer look, he finally notices the absurd change in the MC's appearance, realizing, completely enraged, that the giant dragon himself is the one holding the heart. Right then, Ju Tai screams in pure panic, telling the idiot to fall back instantly. Full of ego, Lu Shi tells him to chill out, thinking the giant dragon is just way too slow for him. However, the worst human flaw is opening your mouth at the worst possible time to talk trash. And just like that, the cocky assassin gets sent straight to the lobby without an ounce of mercy. Seeing the grim situation, Jotai admits their small squad stands absolutely zero chance against the boss, meaning the only sensible option left for the group is to simply turn tail and run away. Despite how mad they are, fighting in these conditions would just be begging to get wiped out. Watching them run, our MC has absolutely no intention of letting those guys bail so easily. With that in mind, the gigantic dragon charges full speed right at the fleeing squad, making it clear they all got the memo and booked it, because that fight was already totally lost. However, mid-escape, one absolutely terrifying detail completely paralyzes the entire team. To everyone's absolute despair, the MC cut them off and fully blocked their only escape route. Wasting no time at all, our boy immediately pulls up, activating the Breath of Annihilation. Just as expected, nobody could tank that hit, and things got really ugly for the team. Out of hope, Jotai orders the squad to stash their gear inside the Infinite Ring. But Shenlu decides to play the hero, screaming that he's already beaten this boss 1,000 times, proving that some folks are just way too stubborn and don't know when to stop embarrassing themselves. Summoning his Cloud Legion, the old geezer goes right in to catch yet another beating. Brimmed with confidence, he orders every single one of his creatures to swarm the enemy. The problem is, our MC just uses a single swipe to send the majority straight to the lobby. Left standing in the arena, the summoned dragon tries to take another swing at Athos. No matter how hard the creature tries, our boy doesn't even feel a tickle from the blow. Punishing the sheer audacity, the MC just buries the monster's head straight into the dirt. Now, the only thing left to do is take out the trash and end the arrogant summoner for good. Even while getting clapped, Shenlu just laughs, threatening to keep coming back to eat his soul. In reality, Stellar Tier dungeons can't just be rerun that easily whenever you feel like it. To make it worse, the MC didn't plan on letting anyone escape, and those threats just doubled the sentence. Because of that, our main guy decides to test out his brand new overpowered skill, instantly casting the terrifying infernal prison right onto the battlefield. Just like the spell warned, anyone trapped inside gets sent straight to the grave without mercy. Thinking he was just being scary, the old man's empty threats actually cost him his ticket back home. In the meantime, Shenlu starts to feel the vibe shift and get genuinely terrifying. With his HP hitting absolute zero, the resurrection that was supposed to save his life simply fails, having his very soul destroyed by the magic. Shenlu is completely wiped from existence forever. Farming a solid 9 million XP, the kid hits level 40 and needs to change classes again. Sometime later, the guild squad spawns back safe and sound, sitting in a super tense silence. At that exact moment, the lobby doors swing wide open. A cleric comes running in, and Jotai immediately asks about Master Shen. Panicking, the guy announces that the master's data completely vanished from the system, catching absolutely everyone off guard with this deeply shocking piece of news, leaving them in total disbelief over how the boss bypassed the system and permanently erased the guy. But how do you even explain to them that the overpowered beast was just our MC in disguise? Leaving Jotai fully traumatized, having no clue the old man only got wiped for talking too much trash. Right after that, the story cuts back to the apartment complex. Getting there, we see our boy enjoying a very well-deserved refreshing drink, just wanting to kick back and relax after causing so much absolute chaos in a single day. Checking out the loot, what really caught his eye were the purely lucky stellar teardrops, scoring a 6 stellar dagger and an absolutely ridiculous new skill scroll. Stashing it all away, the kid gets dressed to handle his second-class upgrade. On his way there, the system confirms that the stubborn old man really was permanently erased. Because if that summoner ever came back for the dragon's heart, things would get super ugly. And after the team's collective trauma, absolutely nobody is stepping foot in that dungeon anytime soon. Taking that huge weight off his shoulders, he goes on his way without a single worry in the world. Also keeping in mind that the highly coveted Dragon Slayer's heart is sitting safely in his inventory. It's a very special item capable of summoning a heroic spirit if used the right way. Just imagining how totally untouchable he'd be with a partner like that backing him up. But his main goal right now is his class upgrade, and he needs to slay the Black Dragon to get it. With that, the scene cuts to the gorgeous priestess Bai Ling, fully loaded with blessings. Smiling, the saint welcomes Su Yang, saying she's been eagerly waiting for him. Feeling a bit suspicious, he asks exactly how she knew he was coming. Turning up the charm, she explains that the statue alerted her about her favorite VIP client. Without dragging it out, the system announces the kid accepted the insane 5-star challenge, having to entirely solo the dungeon and crush the final boss in under 3 minutes. After all, the kid is so insanely buffed he became a literal machine for crushing enemies, usually demanding a full squad by normal rules, but right now he's rolling in completely solo. However, knowing the kid's crazy track record, there's absolutely no reason to panic. Totally focused on the mission, he asks the saint for a detailed layout of the dungeon. Grabbing the papers and thanking her, the priestess asks him to hold on for a quick second, worriedly warning him about a really bizarre bug in the dungeon, telling him to be super careful. Holding back his laughter, he thanks her, knowing perfectly well that the big bad villain was actually him. A little later, hunting for an empty dungeon, he sees every single one packed with people. Getting super curious if the crowd was hanging around trying to farm some valuable gear. Double-checking the final map, he spots the exact entrance he needs right in front of his face. Seeing an annoying line out the door, he just decides he's gonna enter that one anyway. To his absolute surprise, the whole place was loaded with plenty of familiar faces. Right off the bat, he recognizes Shui Qian from the Cloud Clan chilling in the waiting area, and totally killing the vibe that annoying guy Engfei was also there making an appearance. Scanning the crowd, his eyes land right on the girl from the Phantom Rain Guild. With everyone holding on to some old beef, the chances of this ending in a massive brawl are sky high. Because our MC isn't giving up his spot, so they either step aside or he's laying the smackdown. Then, the camera focuses on some chubby creep trying his luck and hitting on Xiaotheng. Before he can even finish his cheesy pickup line, a whip cracks right across his face. It's the fierce Rilon wielding the whip, repping the Phantom Rain squad. Trying to play the tough guy, Engfei says he's not afraid of third-class trash. Introducing his totally bizarre partner, an exotic-looking dude named Leeson. Striking a cocky pose, Leeson claims that whoever throws the hardest punch runs the place. Knowing the girls on her team are rookies, Rylan fears they might get beat up. Because of that, going on the offensive might not be the best move for the group. Right at that moment, our beloved MC arrives on the scene. Seeing that physical strength rules there, the boy decides to join the fun. Smiling with relief at seeing the boy, Shui quickly tenses up at the enemy's size. On the flip side, Engfei immediately scowls the second he lays eyes on the MC. Wasting no time, the rival taunts him, asking if he's going to step up to the big guy, completely ignoring the jerk. Su Yang walks right past him to greet Shui Qian. Curious about the scene, Rylan asks, confirming that the two were from the same class. Shocked by his guts, she warns him of the danger, but the MC says he needs to go in. Confused, the warrior doesn't get how he already reached level 40 so incredibly fast. Then, that annoying Engfei tries to challenge our hero even though he's only level 10. Finding the rival's low level great, the MC knows he can hit him without wiping him out. Suddenly, just a very quick wave of the hand is made, sending the cheeky little mosquito flying far away just like a kite. And with that simple little joke, the kid's HP hits 0 in the blink of an eye, leaving the doubt if the boy was spinning his dagger, but everything pointed to yes. Furious at the scene, the big guy charges full throttle right at our hero. As expected, this attempt at a surprise attack fails miserably. Without losing momentum, the brute immediately pulls out his massive flaming sword. Calling the rival team's girl to the fight, the MC wants to settle it all at once. Apparently she even liked the idea, finding his attitude pretty bold and cocky. Next, she suggests a truce to the big guy so they can teach the boy a lesson together. Closing the deal fast, the two furiously charge right at our hero. Right at the bat, the brute unleashes an insane combo of punches on the boy. Seeing the MC's smooth dodges, the guy gets desperate and turns his fist into a lion. To everyone's surprise, the punk actually manages to land a solid hit this time. However, it's very clear that the blow didn't even tickle our hero. Returning the favor with a heavy strike, the boy sends the crazy guy flying far away, keeping in mind that meanwhile, the warrior villain is also in the mix. Luckily, the crystal shield was already activated, preventing a blindside attack. Noticing the advanced gear, Rylan sees her attack didn't even scratch his defense HP. Right in that tense moment, a mysterious explosion steals both of their attention. From the looks of it, the big guy survived and now respawns, huffing with pure rage, exhausting the MC's patience, who had already warned that he was racing against the clock. Catching the enemy off guard, who wasn't expecting such a fast and aggressive reaction. Barely able to stand, the brute gets launched through the air all over again. Wanting to speed things up, Su Yang asks if the girls still want to keep fighting. Quickly, Rylan backs off saying it was just a test and asking to call it quits. Being the perfect answer, the boy avoids making things worse with the allied guilds. Apologizing to their boss, he drops the ultimatum that the dungeon is already claimed. Then, the system alerts that the boy just stepped into the dreaded cave of suffering. Thinking about it, aside from the dragon's lair, our hero has only entered 2 dungeons. Strolling through the place, he spots an isolated monster way too relaxed for the challenge. However, it's best not to question the story's plot, so the show goes on without breaks. Just ahead, the attacking goblin achieves the incredible feat of completely missing his arrow. acting merely as a cheap distraction for another monster to sneak up from behind. Sure enough, a cool strategy. The only problem was trying to use it on the MC. Showing no mercy, the boy grabs one of the monsters and throws it, bowling over the other. Right Esther's about to Tation lets Sword's power and sending both of them straight back to the lobby. Putting the weapon away, noting that the dungeon's surprises were only just beginning. Until then, he used brute force. But he'd need skills against much tougher enemies. So, he decides to use the favorable environment to practice his demonic blade, following the path totally focused even though he felt several curious eyes watching him. But he barely takes 100 steps and already faces another round of surprise attacks. Then, the attackers smash face first into the aura shield created by our boy, and proving his versatility, he instantly morphs that same aura into a giant hammer, wasting no time, dropping the hammer and finishing off the monsters in the blink of an eye. But the party doesn't end there, because there were way more monsters waiting to be slaughtered, proving he has great reflexes. Su Yang dodges exactly in time for the very next attack, quickly reshaping the hammer, crafting a long-range crossbow straight out of his aura, landing precise shots and sending 3 monsters to the grave one right after another. Tired of playing defensively, deciding to grab everyone's attention all at once, making an insane dash and sprinting full speed toward the famous boss room. Suddenly, right in the middle of his sprint, our MC hits the brakes hard, molding the aura into a blade and throwing it full force at the monsters chasing him, admiring the damage and noting how this versatile skill is a massive lifesaver. At that exact moment, the dreaded dungeon boss decides to wake up from its slumber. Appearing right in front of him is a majestic and terrifying level 40 ice tiger. Full of arrogance, the monster drops that classic speech about invading its territory, quickly realizing it was just a mindless NPC absolutely perfect for testing out his techniques. Charging confidently at the hero, but the tactic doesn't yield the expected result. With zero ceremony, our MC slices the big beast into several pieces like a puzzle, taking just a single strike to defeat the creature and clear the challenge in record time, walking out with a huge smile, super satisfied to successfully wrap up the mission. Outside, he sees the girls hiding in a panic, but Rillen quickly changes the subject, with their jaws dropped over him, clearing the whole place in under 5 minutes. Sometime later, our hero finishes off the boss of the second dungeon required by the quest. With the job done, the system announces the transition was completed with flying colors. However, his performance was so absurd that he actually ended up unlocking a hidden quest. Getting intrigued, Su Yang immediately starts poking around to find out what it was all about. Right as the backend interface reveals the stage called the Lost Rusty Key, having a beast guarding the area and yielding incredible rewards along with the new class. Just mentioning Stapus is enough to get the boy hyped to the absolute max. Following the trail, the quest points to a wild area near the Spirit City, needing a good blacksmith for his stellar dagger to face this level of challenge. Luckily, remembering that the Celestial Pavilion branch is right there, dealing in information, taking the chance to pay a visit and test their reaction to seeing his VIP title. Arriving in the city, the boy is blown away by the crowd seeking tips at the pavilion, even feeling some butterflies in his stomach for having his pockets full after selling his loot. Seeing a scene of pure chaos in the shop, with everyone impatiently trying to cut the line. Entering the joint, he immediately spots Joe Tai and Lucy right in the middle of the mess, and there was Lucy whining, demanding a full refund for his lost stellar tier weapon. Trying to calm him down, Joe Tai reminds him they're lucky they didn't get wiped with Shenyuan. Ticked off about the scam, the guy shoots back that he'll have to grind for months to recover the cash, kicking a piece of wood out of pure rage, which ends up landing right in the MC's hands. Looking pretty annoyed, Su Yang instantly asks who the rude guy is throwing trash at him. Nervous, Lucy steps up to the plate but gets a very sharp response from our boy. Outraged at the rookie, being warned by the MC that he'll be sent straight down to the lobby. Trying to avoid bigger issues, Joe Tai steps in and apologizes to the boy. Taking "the customer is always right" to heart, the MC questions the terrible service. Politely, Joe Tai apologizes, explaining that he needed to level up more. Being super snarky, the boy pulls out his card and asks if he looked like a rookie. At this, Lucy doesn't care much and immediately asks what's so special about the little card. Right as there's a bet, someone slickly snatches the card away. Completely clueless, Joe Tai wonders why the Grand Butler is even standing there. Being Jiawei, a level 120 big shot and the city's Grand Butler, arriving with a bang, just like a real boss putting the house in order. Before anyone can even open their mouth, he starts handing out scoldings to absolutely everyone. Right after handing the card back and making a point to introduce himself to the boy, getting intrigued upon seeing that the young man held a super rare black gold card, demanding that the others treat the illustrious guest with the absolute best service. Leaving with Lu Shi, making Joe Tai change his tune and offer some help. explaining he needs a master blacksmith and gems, even if it costs a fortune. Being loaded with cash, our hero doesn't even sweat the ridiculously high price. Quickly, Jotai gets the message and goes to fetch the intel personally. Logically, the MC really enjoyed this sudden change in attitude, leaving there with the data, noting that the blacksmith was very well hidden. In the meantime, ending up overhearing a random comment floating around there, being a rumor about the exploration team heading back to the Black Dragon's lair, concluding he needs to tame the dragon fast to secure his special item. Sometime later, our warrior arrives at the famous forge of the Old Wolf, arriving at the place and calling out for Master Gui Yang, asking permission to step inside. To his surprise, finding the old man and two girls from the Phantom Cloud clan, finding everything excellent and celebrating the luck of bumping into his guildmates there. Before saying hi, one of the girls walks right up and recognizes him as the rookie. Except the vibe quickly shifts when the other girl decides to crash her friend's party, bluntly warning him that this was a master forge, telling him to go find another one. Keeping his cool, the boy is even too lazy to explain his level all over again. Faced with all this suspicion, he decides to ask a very basic little question. Keeping his cool, questioning if his weapon would be qualified for that specific master, shocking everyone. The tricked-out gear impresses even the blacksmith himself. After all, it had been a while since the old man saw a weapon with such insane potential. Acting with a lot of humility, the boy hands over the item, trusting the master. All hyped up, the old blacksmith gets his hands dirty right then and there. From then on, the veteran starts working incredibly hard at his forge, raining hammer strikes in every single direction at a totally mind-blowing pace, leaving everyone super impressed by the upgrading of a stellar tier weapon, leaving the purple-haired girl completely amazed by that entire show of sparks. Noticing that the MC didn't care about the show even being at level 40, curious, the purple-haired girl notices Shui Chen staring at the boy with total admiration, while the MC just plays dumb, totally doubting his choice of guild. Hours later, the blade is ready, and the boy quickly asks the price of the job. Satisfied with the work, the blacksmith announces he's doing it all for free, humbly refusing the offer and forking over a cool billion right on the spot. Surprised by the massive pile of cash, the old man smiles, accepts it, and seals the deal, leaving both girls absolutely charmed by the young man's awesome attitude. A while later, our hero shows up on the mountain to complete the hidden quest. With all his current raw power, the kid's confidence goes straight through the roof, mixing in the right potions, being absolutely sure he can take on any enemy, without wasting time deciding it was finally time to hit play on the chaos. Barely stepping on the ground, two shadowy creatures already start sniffing his neck, being two incredibly annoying spectral bats, both sitting at level 45. Cool as a cucumber, our hero handles the problem with a double slash and moves on. Even being a basic strike, the stellar weapon turns the damage into pure insanity, getting super lucky with this ridiculous damage because the place was absolutely crawling with monsters. With no patience to clear the map the right way, deciding to just cheat the system. From then on, turning into an absolute show of explosions and lights in every direction, quickly arriving at the boss's cave knowing the creature was over level 50, leaving only the question if the giant monster could actually tank his heavy hits in practice. Without a second thought, kicking the door down and heading straight inside. The second he steps through the entrance, starting to scan the room very carefully, getting caught totally off guard right away upon seeing the boss's bizarre true form, because instead of a classic monster, the beast completely broke the game's usual standards, turning out to be a hideous mutant beast that looked like it crawled right out of the sewer, totally confident, saying he was going to prep, but already sprinting like a madman to attack, riding the momentum, burying the blade in the beast's forehead and dealing 52,000 damage, applying the spectral mark which burns mana but boosts damage by 300%. Since a bad weed never dies, the beast stays on its feet and immediately tries to hit the boy back, with cat-like reflexes, dodging the attack with a slick acrobatic jump straight up, right after that unleashing a rain of heavy strikes right on the monster's vital spots, gaining momentum once again, charging full speed straight toward his target, without letting the beast breathe, immediately delivering the killing blow with absolutely no mercy, even thinking the boss would put up a better fight, but clearly it got sent to the lobby real fast. Right after winning, dropping a rusty quest key and a totally bizarre chunk of meat. Rating the description, the item belonged to someone powerful enough to mutate the beast, with the mission successfully completed, gaining a sweet 25% boost to all his stats, scoring a brand new passive skill on top of that, tossing another 10% into strength and magic, wrapping up the rewards with a bang, officially promoting the MC to a magic warrior. Without overthinking his build, he simply spreads the new points out in a totally balanced way. Thinking about it, with everything so overpowered, no platinum boss could ever tank more than one hit from him. In the blink of an eye, the boy was already back at the temple chatting it up with Bai Ling. Curious, the priestess asks about his plans, and the MC lets her know he's taking a day off. But his break was just swinging by the pavilion and gearing up to hunt down the black dragon. In another scene, the butler orders Joe Tai to take 30 strong men straight to the dungeon to calm the team down, announcing that everyone will get a ring that prevents a trip to the lobby. Knowing that ring costs a fortune, showing the bosses want the lair at absolutely any cost. Confirming the plan, the big shot says he'd solo the dragon himself if he were just a bit younger. The problem is, out of nowhere, someone kicks the door down saying to leave the dragon alone, leaving everyone in the room completely in shock as they recognize the nosy intruder. Being the majestic Lulin, the boss's daughter at level 130, an absolute legend, nobody in the room imagined the heiress would just pop up out of nowhere, leaving everyone totally speechless. Except, the girl seemed a bit crazy in the head, going to literally sit on thin air. But a bodyguard quickly pulls up a chair, and Lulin strictly bans any raid on the lair. Trying to play the tough guy, the butler questions it, but quickly backs down feeling her pressure, ending the discussion and leaving, demanding all the dragon reports and a very luxurious room. Meanwhile, Lucy was still in shock, unable to believe that the little princess was actually standing right there, being crazy, overpowered, and a member of the Beast Tamers Association, something highly respected, wanting to put the dragon on a leash, aiming to become the strongest tamer on the entire continent. Faced with that, the butler yells that nobody should steal her kill, or things will get really ugly. Trying to speed up the order, Jotai finds out the MC already bought the very last guide, thinking it was premeditated. The butler doubts him, wondering if they should ask for the book back. Promptly, Jia Yu forbids offending a VIP client over such a petty little reason. With that, the scene cuts straight back to the comfort of our MC's own home, reading his new 5 billion book, really hoping the crazy investment pays off in the end. Flipping through the pages, finally finding the juicy details about the Black Dragon. Analyzing it all, the boy notices that his damage reduction doesn't even show up in the guide. Checking the records, there was one in the northwest, having another one up for grabs in the central region, plus one more totally lost way down in the southeast, leaving only the exact dragon the MC wants since 2 have already been wiped out, surviving because it's at the radiant moon level, making the boy dig for more details. Getting completely overpowered because of that bizarre piece of meat the pavilion wants so badly. Knowing that's worth rivers of cash, the kid's eyes literally sparkle with pure excitement. Thinking about it, it'd be way better to feed the meat to his own dragon to evolve. Laying down fully relaxed with this plan, the system drops some truly spectacular news, announcing that defeating the dragon turns it into a completely loyal sidekick, being instantly shocked by the crazy idea of having a giant boss as a pet. Promptly, the system confirms it's just a standard feature and tells him to chill out. But how can he not get hyped about having Supreme Majesty fighting right by his side? Feeling a bit bummed remembering the massive hassle of taming the beast in an open area, right at that moment an important notification pops up in the guild's group chat, seeing the girls planning to meet at the giant forest, the absolute perfect farming spot, wasting no time, dropping a very direct, "I'm in," straight into the team chat. Initially not understanding his pushy attitude, they eventually end up accepting his company, or rather, totally rejecting him, sparking a massive uproar of pure indignation, turning into an absolute mess in the chat, with opinions completely split about the boy. Stepping into the mess, Yu warns of the danger, but the MC confirms he's ready. Changing the scenery. The scene cuts right to the imposing advanced class temple, with Lei Shan at level 99, needing to go precisely to the giant forest, leaving the Spirit Clan on edge since the difficulty over there bordered on the impossible. However, knowing the Cloud Clan would also go, Lei Shan cooks up a really dirty plan, suggesting they send their rivals to the lobby and just steal their territorial ticket, totally forgetting the MC will be playing bodyguard and the headache will be absolutely massive. Hours later, the crew steps foot into the highly dangerous domains of the giant forest. Walking calmly, the boy totally understands the Cloud Clan's sheer desperation for this specific place. Understanding that the challenge dungeon strictly requires warriors of the 5th transformation, noticing that most folks there were from weak guilds posing zero threat to the 2 powerhouses. Then, Lei Shan pops into the area escorted by the entire elite of the Spirit Clan. Kicking the door wide open, the arrogant leader immediately kicks everyone right out of the place. Quickly, the MC figures out that going in there at their current level would be absolute suicide, just wanting to claim the spot by force to completely block the Cloud Clan's entry. Then, an arrogant goon tells the boy to leave, but just gets a super calm response. Right after that, the fool makes the fatal mistake of putting his hand on his shoulder. Just a few brief milliseconds after that happened, Surprisingly, the jerk ends up laid out flat on the ground, snapped just like a twig, taking a nasty counterattack that launched him miles away from his starting point, actually flying even further away than the actual laws of physics would ever allow, serving as a humiliating spectacle and a crystal-clear warning for nobody to mess with him. Annoyed, Lei Shan demands answers, but the boy just claims it was pure self-defense. Wanting to fight, Zhao Ming tries to attack but gets held back by his own leader. Since the goon started it all, Lei Shan prefers to avoid any friction at that moment. Even with his furious ally, the leader sees the MC is strong and focuses on the rivals. Right at that exact time, Su Yang notices that the Cloud Clan girls have finally arrived. Arriving in style, and Yu immediately questions what that whole crowd is doing at the dungeon. Mockingly, Lei Shan says his clan marked their territory and tells her to back off completely. Not taking any crap, the leader claps back that his group lacks the strength for this place. Confirming the theory, Lei Shan says the plan is exactly to mess with their rivals. Catching everyone off guard, the rival leader takes a super fast attack right out of nowhere. Being the fierce Mu Rong, warning that if the guy wants war, that's exactly what he'll get. With the vibe feeling heavy, the brawl seemed fully set and ready to explode right there. Then, our MC steps right into the middle, calmly asking if they were blocking the entrance. Honestly, who does this guy think he is to just dictate the rules around here like that? Behind him, the girls are completely shocked by his sheer courage to confront the leader head-on, thinking the boy is super brave, having no idea the crazy guy is actually insanely overpowered. Relieved, Yu thanks him for the backup, and the MC apologizes for being a little late. Reflecting, the leader finds him way too mysterious, sporting rare items and a VIP status. Boiling with jealousy, Lei Shan doesn't get how the rookie is so buddy with Yu. Biting back with rage, the rival yells that the MC made a total fool of him minutes ago, tricking the guy in an absolute genius way, leaving the leader with nothing to do but cry. Consumed by pure fury, a treacherous attack is fired without any warning right at Xu Yang. Without breaking a sweat, the boy simply raises his hand and catches the poisoned arrow mid-air. Since the enemy played target practice, now it's time for the MC to hit right back. With a single simple motion, Xu Yang throws the arrows right back with pure destructive force, landing the nasty counterattack dead center on the rival guild's vice leader. As expected, this sheer humiliation leaves Lei Shan bordering on a total meltdown from pure rage. Ignoring the tantrum, the boy just walks slowly straight toward the enemy troop, approaching with complete calm, warming up like someone just going for a walk in the park, leaving the Spirit Clan totally shocked to see a lone boy step up to an entire guild. Keeping his cool posture, the MC calmly warns he's going to teach the troublemakers a lesson. Quickly, Lei Shan spots a very sinister-looking skill scroll right in Su Yang's hands. Desperate at the energy, the leader screams for a barrier, fully activating all their defenses. Thinking the defense would hold off the impact, not knowing the MC absolutely feeds on their despair. Without any ceremony, our MC fully activates the brutal power of the Mystic Scroll. Behind him, the girls hold their breath, terrified by the absolutely absurd energy filling the air. Noticing way too late that it's a legendary spell completely impossible to block with any barrier. Being cold and totally ruthless, the boy unleashes the fury of the attack on the opposing leader. From that truly catastrophic attack, everyone can already imagine the result of that massive damage. After the destruction, Su Yang walks back over to the girls, casually brushing the dust off his clothes. Smiling confidently, he lets them know the path is wide open to clear the dungeon out. Shocked, the leader can't understand how he wiped out a whole guild in the blink of an eye. Helping clear up the mystery, a member chimes in saying she drew the whole scene of destruction, showing in the finest detail a drawing of an absolutely giant blade made of condensed magic. Understanding that he perfectly combined the legendary spell with epic skills in a truly genius tactic. Amazed, Mu Rong points out that a level 58 skill would never pull off something like that, reinforcing the crazy theory that he's secretly the undercover leader of some massive super guild. Cutting through the gossip, the boy asks if they shouldn't head inside, and Yu agrees instantly. Skipping ahead in time, the group marches right into the forest, holding formation and being very careful. Trying to flirt, a girl asks the boy for some protection, and he responds looking pretty uncomfortable. In that brief moment of distraction, a bizarre figure leaps out of the bushes ready to strike. Initially, Sui Qian gets a huge scare, but soon realizes it's just a rabbit. But right after the harmless little bunny, a bizarre two-headed raptor shows up. Trying to keep order, Yu tells everyone to chill, since it's just a common monster. Showing she's not playing around, she draws her sword and summons her sacred armor. However, another creature quickly pops up on the scene, a giant elite bear. Asking about the lack of a backup tank, he's told that a female tank is a rare find, Without much choice, the boy says he'll hold the line and asks them to focus on healing him. Agreeing quickly, the leader orders the team to totally focus their heals on him. Receiving all the buffs, our MC quickly notices his strength literally doubling. Ignoring the hero's power, the clueless bear charges in full force for the attack. Quickly, he strikes back, burying his sword and dealing 109,000 damage. Right after sending the monsters to the lobby and proving they make a great duo. Without much stalling, the group keeps pushing deep into the dungeon's dangers. Then the MC starts taking out the beasts 2 by 2, especially being all buffed up. After hours of farming, the team bumps into the boss, leaving the leader a bit anxious. Trying to calm her down, the boy tells her to relax and guarantees the victory. Faced with so much confidence, she takes a deep breath and decides to trust his gut. With that, the entire guild goes all in without mercy right at the big boss. Changing the scenery, the scene cuts to the pavilion discussing the rival clan's defeat. Understanding it all, the butler figures the challenge of the year will go to the Cloud clan. Besides that, asking if they managed to get more details on the Black Dragon's lair. But before any answer, the focus shifts right back to the Cloud clan crew. Luckily, the area's big boss was successfully sent straight down to the lobby. Right after the win, the girls get their prize, but the gold amount is super measly. Full of gratitude, and Yu is happy he left the final blow for her to take, killing the romance. The other girls come over showering the boy with compliments. Watching from afar, Mirang can't believe how emotional her teammates are, wanting to reward the MC, and Yu offers items but he refuses with a full inventory. Super hyped. The girls celebrate the materials they got for their leader to level up. Full of hope, they corner the boy to see if he's going to show up at the party. Right then, the system pings warning about a new invader, asking for a connection. Given a quick excuse, the boy apologizes and runs off due to an emergency. A short time later in the dragon's lair, the boy's consciousness awakens inside the beast, looking at the invader, realizing it's a crazy elf with the guts to come all alone. Being the mage Carl Lawrence, flaunting an absurd level 140 in the area. Scanning the enemy, Su Yang sends his elite monsters to test the waters. Meanwhile, someone shows up screaming that they'll smash the elf's face in. Being his minions swearing to sacrifice the invader in the name of Lord Athos. Finding the situation funny, the elf laughs mockingly for finally learning the beast's name. Showing zero mercy, the mage shreds the MC's minions without breaking a sweat. To the arrogant guy, those beasts were trash, thinking the dragon would be the exact same. However, the preppy guy gets grossed out by the creature's blood and throws a fit. Jokes aside, the elf is tough, summoning a colossal giant with just a snap of his fingers. Seeing the trouble, the MC sweats bullets, noticing the level 95 monsters getting dropped. Searching his memory, remembering the elf princess Lilith, and thinking of using her there. Funnily enough, looking at the hostage in the corner, he sees her sleeping like a log. Since time is short, the dragon gives a little shake to wake the girl up with a jump scare. Waking up a bit groggy, the elf blinks and asks who could be calling her name. Cutting the cuteness, the dragon speaks with a deep voice and asks if she's really the elf princess. Noticing the girl's shock at hearing him speak, the dragon says that doesn't matter right now. Stubbornly, the elf puts her foot down and finds it impossible for the dumb beast to turn into a talking genius. Completely freaking out upon realizing the giant beast heard all her private venting. With zero patience for drama, the MC threatens to eat the girl just to give her a good scare. Shaking a lot, she finally reveals she's Lilith, the sixth daughter of Queen Sivalea. Remembering the guides, the boy realizes he picked a fight with the supreme ruler, trying to change the subject, letting her know her people came to rescue her in the dungeon. However, the girl's smile vanishes upon finding out the identity of the rescue leader. Noticing her anger, the boy turns on gossip mode to find out what Lawrence did wrong, venting that the elf is a scumbag from the strongest family in the entire Elven Kingdom. Feeling bad, but joking that he's still thinking about handing the princess over as a gift. Desperate, Lilith begs for help and promises to reveal the terrible mage's weak spot, accepting the deal on the spot, since he was just messing around and trying to scare her anyway. Sticking to the deal, the elf explains the enemy's bloodline are masters of the mystic arts. The catch being that elves are fragile and rely on an overpowered magic barrier. Bummed out, the girl fears defeat, but the MC tells her to have a little more faith in him. Thinking it over, the final trump card would be eating the rotten meat to level up massively. Besides that, his current scaled armor looked super cool, but it was just for show. Out of nowhere, having the brilliant idea to use his human gear in his beast form. In the middle of this, Lilith breaks the silence and begs to be freed so she can run away. But, looking to the side, the girl realizes the dragon had already vanished from the map. In reality, he was still right there, just testing out his brand new stealthy shadow form. Not understanding the stealth mechanics, the elf thinks the giant reptile bailed on her. Playing with the system, the boy equipped his human weapon and blended into the shadows. And with his shared human stats, the dragon became strong enough for absolutely anything. Up ahead, Carl Lawrence arrives acting all tough and threatening our MC. Finding the silence weird, the cocky mage thinks the beast ran away like a total coward. To make matters worse, the creep is totally hallucinating about grabbing the princess. Annoyed by being ignored, the mage tries to attack, but the MC pops up out of nowhere right above him. With one brutal smack, the enemy's health bar drops all the way down to 6%, being so much aggression that the attack even deserved to be censored in today's video. Dazed, the preppy guy can't understand how the dragon shattered his perfect barrier, rubbing it in his rival's face that his mistake was underestimating such an overpowered dragon, giving him zero chance to counterattack, activating his purifying hell skill, resulting in the elf getting turned into an absolutely burnt to a crisp shish kebab, scoring an incredible 12 million experience points as a bonus, plus some sick items. Digging through the loot, finding legendary items and a super rare banishment scroll, being an advanced spell capable of wiping out an entire city if used the right way. Thinking about it, a wave of sadness hits, noticing the fancy staff and tunic are gone. Rewinding the tape back to the other side of the battle, the scene focuses on the princess again. Biting her nails from the tension, the girl is still shocked by the dragon vanishing from there. Coincidence or not, she just thinks about him. And the beast quickly emerges from the shadows. Terrified, she asks about the mage, but the MC lets her know the guy is already ashes, lying that he used invisibility to win, something the princess finds pretty darn suspicious. Seeing her suspicion, the boy shifts the focus and asks why she was so incredibly weak, coming clean, revealing an ancient curse that made her the sacrifice this time around. Connecting the dots, noticing that his meddling changed the girl's tragic fate. Without much warning, the beast stretches his giant scaly hand toward the hostage damsel. Closing her eyes, the girl shakes all over, thinking the reptile was going to crush her right there. Luckily, the rough touch only served to break the chains and let Lilith loose. Totally lost by the monster's actions, the elf questions the reason for so much generosity. Then the MC plays the good guy and immediately tells his servants not to touch Lilith. Finding it weird, Lilith doubts all this peace, already wondering what he was going to ask for. And out of nowhere, the connection drops because the dragon simply passed out from exhaustion. So, our boy sneaks quietly right back to his house. Suddenly, a system notification pops up. Could it be a message from Lin? But the surprise is huge, with several messages popping up looking like a computer virus. Long story short, almost everyone is hitting on our human, the newest celebrity in town. So he decides to reply only to Lin, so she can calm the rest of the girls down. At that, Lin loves his reply, reassures the boy, and even drops a hint for them to go out. Finding it awesome, he knows the All-Girls Guild is lively and feels just like a family. The next day, our warrior already clocks in at the sacred temple. Getting there, he bumps into Shui Qian. Both are there for their class upgrades. Proudly, she says she hit level 20. But he lets her know he's already at 60. Hearing this, the girl congratulates him, but gets sad, thinking she's going to be left in the dust. Sensing the vibe, the MC boosts her morale, praising her hidden class. Soon the girl gets a warm feeling in her heart after those encouraging words. And he even promises that if she focuses on her training, one day they'll fight side by side. With that, her smile goes from ear to ear, promising to give it her absolute best. Right after that, he focuses on his 5-star quest, which came with 2 different challenges. Worried, the priestess Bai Ling tells him to be careful due to the Blood Moon event. Basically, it's a tense event where the monsters in the ruined mansion get super strong. So, she begs him to be careful, and he gives a thumbs up, saying he'll watch his back. But honestly, our hero doesn't even care, since his power makes everything feel like a walk in the park. Without stalling, we arrive at the Platinum Tier Dungeon, the ruined mansion. Right at the entrance, the local guard is catching some Z's and starts to wake up. Waking up, he notices the blood moon and complains about it ruining his nap. But since nobody ever shows up there anyway, he decides to put up a sign and go back to sleep. However, the guard gets spooked seeing that some crazy brave guy actually went into the dungeon. A short while later, the scene shifts right inside the combat area. Inside, the MC is already shown slicing up the spirits like they were made of cardboard. As usual, the overpowered guy shows off, noticing the blood moon didn't change a thing for him. But that's when a huge surprise totally shatters the peaceful vibe. From the looks of it, things are about to get way more tense with the monsters. With the moon at its peak, the beast jumped from level 55 all the way to 70. But chill out. The boy already pops up dodging the ghost with a smooth Michael Jackson moonwalk. Now, the beast's speed has gone up and the creeps start attacking with their tongues. Being a pretty bizarre move, but who am I to judge a monster's weird fetish? With that, the creatures charge straight at him one more time. Quickly, our MC sends both of them straight to the lobby without a second thought. Feeling super grossed out by that bizarre tongue that could hit where the sun doesn't shine. Then, the system warned his sanity dropped 10 points because of the blood moon. Realizing his mistake, he sees he totally underestimated the event that drains his mental sanity. To wipe the area clean for good, he activates his demonic blade with the sword ring. From here on out, he needs to be extra careful so he doesn't completely lose his mind. Pushing through the dungeon, he keeps cleaning house and sending everyone to the grave. In the meantime, we notice him wielding a really stylish, sinister scythe. Soon, his sanity drops to 60%, leaving him vulnerable to magical attacks. Hunting for the boss, he ends up running right into a giant beast along the way, being a level 82 zombie giant, which quickly grabs him with just a single hand. Surviving the scare, he gives up on playing fair and decides to use his broken tricks. With that, the giant monster starts getting sliced up from every single direction. The job being done by his spiritual wolves, which just popped out of nowhere. Turns out the boy now has 2 level 125 lunar wolves. The win of the MC score these 2 overpowered wolves while hiding his cards. Luckily, with those level 125 beasts, the kid becomes completely untouchable. Out of patience with his sanity dropping, he orders his summons to clear the area out. Wiping everything out along the way, the guy finally reaches the massive boss room. Without asking permission, he kicks the door down, announcing a surprise inspection. Finding a whining ghost lady, but our MC couldn't care less about the drama. Soon, the creature confesses that she has already wiped out a lot of people in the past, promising that today she's going to send one more guy 6 feet under. But she wasn't counting on the level 125 wolves crushing the boss. Then the boy tells his wolves to fall back so he can deliver the final blow himself. Finishing off the creature, he notes he needs to get stronger for the 5-star quest. With that, his account gets fatter with another 98,000 experience points. Plus, it drops some awesome platinum tier gear and the enemy's soul core. Knowing the items don't matter that much, but the core will be super useful later on. Wrapping up the looting, our hero heads straight for his mission's next goal. Meanwhile, the scene shifts and we see the outside of the ruined mansion. Seeing the little princess Jiayu, pissed off because someone raided the place and hasn't left. Meanwhile, Lu suggests there might be some survivor hiding in there. Annoyed, she demands to know which guild is inside and for exactly how long. With no clear answer, Jotai says no guild sent anyone over there, making it a total mystery to figure out who the crazy guy inside is. Suddenly, the portal glows, signaling that the unexpected visitor is on his way out. Then our MC pops out looking totally chill, tired after that intense exploration. Looking ahead, he runs right into a very unfriendly welcome party waiting for him. Right away, the guy thinks he's busted and they finally found out his secret. On the other side, the rivals let out a deep sigh seeing it's the kid once again. Confused, the MC questions what that strong crew was doing at such a weak dungeon. At that, a guard instantly scolds him, warning about the extreme danger of the lunar event. But the little princess Jia Yue loses her patience and tells the guard to shut his mouth. Walking up close, she bluntly asks if he cleared the entire dungeon all by himself, confirming the feat. The girl immediately offers to buy the boss's core right on the spot. Playing dumb, the MC asks why the heck he would hand anything over to her. At that moment, her guard gets totally ticked off by such a lack of respect, questioning how he dares not to know the magnificent heiress Jia Yue. Faced with the refusal, the guard threatens to teach him a lesson right there and then. To calm things down, Jia Yue herself smacks her bodyguard right on the head, claiming that's the only way to stop the crazy woman. Trying to get the conversation back on track, being more diplomatic, the boy asks what the lady really wants from him, explaining she wanted the core for her pet, praising the guy's boldness. With that, she proposes a challenge to survive her falcon for 3 full minutes. Except the beast nicknamed Falcon looked a lot more like a level 90 owl. Watching from afar, Lu is totally sure the kid is deeply screwed right now. Soon, the bird attacks with blades, but our slick MC dodges every single one. Not wanting to reveal his strength, the situation left him with no other choice. From afar, Lu recognizes that sinister blade and that specific combat technique. Then, the bird flies right through the guy's body, getting completely confused. Being just an illusion, since the boy used the opening to stab it right in the back. Seeing the bird still breathing, the MC finishes the job with a dead center kick. At that, the girl goes absolutely ballistic over his audacity to eliminate her pet. But our boy claps back that the deal was 3 minutes, with no rules against fighting back. With the vibe heating up, the girl unleashes a gigantic and incredibly furious aura, making it useless to play dumb now because things are about to get really ugly for him. Luckily, someone yells that he has special identities and fighting would be a terrible idea, Pulling her aura back, she asks, and Jutai explains, he holds VIP and black gold status. Annoyed, the boss lady questions the titles, making the boy curious if she's a VIP too. Soon, Jiayu reveals she had that exact same status until her 4th transformation. Finding it interesting, he says she knows the weight of that, then just goes on his way. Foaming with rage, she hops on her horse, but Lu tries to protest against it. But Jiayue cuts him off right away, refusing to pick a fight with the temple's organization. Closing the subject, the system demands a physical trial since the magic one is done. The only objective left to beat the challenge being defeat the Earth Dragon. The very next day, the action moves to the mountains, right at the dungeon entrance. And guess who also decided to show their face around there to make things complicated? At that, Jiaoyu says the weak dragon is a rare boss and absolutely perfect for training. Getting ready to go in, the guard stops her, warning that she can't just cut the line. Then, she shoots an icy glare at Lu, who already knows he's going to take the blame. Trying to flex his authority, the lackey is told that a VIP used their perks right there. Seeing red, the girl immediately threatens to have the guard replaced on the spot. At that exact moment, our MC walks up asking them not to delay his entry. Making the vibe super tense, things get totally serious between the rivals. Annoyed, Lu questions the MC's presence, who claps back about the group stalking him. At that, Jiayu warns that if he fails the test, his VIP privilege is gone for good. Thanking her sarcastically, he questions the lady's interest in such a weak boss. Then, Jo Tai says she's training to tame the legendary Black Flame Wings. Apologizing, the MC lets them know it's his mission, getting a threat in return. Ignoring the threat, the boy walks toward the teleporter with a sarcastic little wave. With that, the strategist is blown away by the kid's audacity, showing absolutely no fear. On top of it all, the MC decides to face the dungeon completely solo. Already inside, we see our hero handing out beatdowns and clearing the whole map. Fighting, he figures the girl actually has a shot at taming the dragon and needs to hustle. Spotting the target, he thinks the beast looks more like a weak, giant lizard. Noticing it's level 61, way weaker than the ones at the ruined mansion. Being a test of pure physical strength, the boy settles it all with an honest beatdown. Right off the bat, the very first strike on the creature is his famous spectral mark. Feeling the hit, the big lizard tries to hit back, showing off some really solid defense. Except as usual, that's not even a slight issue for our overpowered guy. Agilely, the badass lands right on the monster's tail and starts dealing massive damage. Trying to return the favor, the beast can't keep up with the boy's absurd speed. Because of that, he shows no mercy and buries a dead center strike right in the monster's eye, taking only those few hits for the creature to lose half of its entire health bar, being the perfect trigger for the giant lizard to turn on rage mode instantly. Expecting a brawl, the beast rolls into a ball and spins crazily across the ground. Worst part is the bizarre tactic works, bulldozing and destroying everything in its path. On top of that, the beast tracks its target perfectly even while spinning like a top. Faced with this, the boy is left with no opening to attack the out-of-control creature. Looking ahead, he spots a solid granite wall and knows exactly what needs to be done, using that exact obstacle to try and put the brakes on the big lizard's excitement. Said and done, the dragon headbutts straight into the granite and things go south. From the impact, the beast gets dizzy, taking a sweet 20% extra damage. Seeing the perfect opening in the system, our MC immediately charges right into the brawl. At that exact moment, the scene cuts straight back to the crew waiting outside. Curious, Lu asks if they're just going to stand around, but gets cut off by Jutai. Doubting the kid, the guard suggests heading back, but Lu decides to stick around and watch. Then the leaderboard updates and shows Su Yang's name, having won in 20 minutes, leaving Lu's jaw on the floor, because our boy clearly doesn't mess around on the job. Right after the scoreboard updates, the MC pops out of the portal looking totally chill. Wearing the ugly dragon armor, he immediately asks what the crowd is still doing there. Seeing that bizarre sight, everyone is left shocked, and Liu tries really hard not to laugh. Making it hard not to laugh, because that armor is an absolute offense to fashion itself. Knowing how bad it looked, he only put it all on because his inventory was completely full. Shutting Liu down, he asks what's so funny and challenges the guy to beat his record. Stepping up, Liu praises his strength, but takes a jab saying an earth dragon is just weak. Keeping his cool, the boy claps back saying he'll tame the black dragon way before she does. Hearing this, the girl is completely shocked and instantly regrets even opening her mouth. Super annoyed, she asks who he thinks he is to talk with so much pure arrogance. Full of himself, the MC claims he's just a VIP, but guarantees he'll put the dragon on a leash. With that, the system announces the quest is complete, unlocking his next class upgrade, being a stage in the Sleeping Mountains. Inside a prison that used to be a magic lab, Looking at the looted items, the MC quickly figures they'll come in handy for the new challenge, scoring another rusty key and a flask filled with the newly defeated dragon's blood. Wasting no time, he tosses a mocking goodbye to Lu and leaves to fix his goofy outfit. While he bails, Jotai asks Lady Lu what their very next step is going to be. Furious, she orders them to spy on the boy and report the second he starts his advancement. Changing scenes, our MC already took off to fix the total mess of his outfit, being so fast that he already arrives at the Sleeping Mountains to start his hike. Giving solid stats, the hidden armor will do the trick until his 4th class upgrade. With that done, he explores the gloomy place packed with monsters from level 70 to 90. Scanning the scenery, the thick fog brings a pure horror vibe to his search for the prison. Checking the map, the boy quickly realizes the destination is insanely far away. So, he stretches his legs, because the hike is long and the cardio is absolutely guaranteed. And, just when we think it can't get any worse, the situation always finds a little way. Clearing out the monsters on his way, the boy is strong and sends them all to the lobby. But, apparently, a mysterious woman steps out of the smoke asking if he's doing okay. Being the warrior Jiang Yang, sitting at level 75 and rocking the lot of style. Curious, she assumes the kid is lost, but he thanks her and mentions his mission, offering to team up to protect him. The warrior gets quickly turned down by our hero. With that said, the badass drops the subject and goes on his way without looking back. Actually, he only refused the help because he fully plans on using his cheating methods. With nobody around, he takes the chance to summon his 2 giant spiritual wolves. Oddly enough, the beasts turn red and take off sprinting at an absolutely absurd speed. Not getting it, the MC suspects it's the Blood Moon's effect but leaves it for later. Running hard with the creatures, the incredibly long trip finally starts coming to an end. Soon, our MC successfully reaches his deeply mysterious destination safe and sound. Looking closely, the prison is fully camouflaged inside the trunk of a deep, giant tree. Shortly after, he walks in exploring the place, but catches a really strong, nasty smell. With a tense scene, several folks have already bit the dust there, with their energy drained. Sneaking up quietly, our boy figures out that the creature right ahead is the one to blame, being a really weird beast in the middle of a ritual circle looking just like a demon. Driven by pure curiosity, the boy moves his hand closer to the monster's open mouth. At that, the creature wakes up, revealing itself as the local level 75 boss, except that high level doesn't save it from taking a beating from the wolves and kicking the bucket. As soon as the boss turns to dust, the macabre notes from the experiments drop as loot. Reading the paper, the MC sees that the mage used 326 guinea pigs in the tests, but the big detail is the crazy guy's genius idea upon finally achieving total success, simply testing the ritual on his own body, which made him instantly kick the bucket. With the notes validated, the system grants him the right to perform the blessing ritual, requiring him to stay in the circle, consuming the essence of a very powerful creature. Knowing the mage's failure, she finds it risky, but realizes he just needs to connect the dots. Then it clicks, realizing the mistake was using a human instead of the dragon's blood. Having a wild idea, the boy decides to use the essence from his very own dragon. Quickly, he asks the system if he can force the connection with the boss down in the abyss. Being music to his ears, he leaves the little wolves guarding his physical body right there. With that done, he orders the system to start the consciousness transfer right away. Changing the scene to the abyss, we see the elf princess dying of boredom with the dragon. After all, the beast promised Lilith her freedom, but only knows how to sleep like a log. Frustrated, the girl notices that the royals don't give a damn about a cursed princess. At that exact moment, the dragon wakes up, letting out a roar that scares the elf to death. Desperate, Lilith questions the fury, but the MC plays it off, saying it's just pure habit. Without stalling, the giant lizard raises its paw, totally focused on what actually matters. In a completely insane move, the scaly beast delivers a massive punch to his own chest. Luckily, the hit works, making the highly coveted abyssal golden essence pour right out. Watching in outrage, the elf asks, and he makes up an excuse that it was just a minor accident. Suspicious of his excitement, she teases, asking if he had a dream about some lady dragon. Mocking her, the MC tells her to drop the crazy theories, which the girl promptly denies. Ignoring the teasing, he focuses on the mission and immediately stores the essence away. Soon, he lets her know he's going back to sleep and tells her to chill for the next enemies. Faced with this, the little princess is left clueless, not understanding anything about this next wave. But before she can even ask, the slick guy disconnects, following his routine of passing out. With that, the boy's consciousness returns to the human world, finding his body totally safe. Following the mission, he stands in the center of the formation to absorb the abyss essence. Now things are going to get really intense, being a complete mystery even to our hero. Knowing that fortune favors the bold, the boy decides to go absolutely all in. With that said, here comes that absurd pain during this incredibly painful evolution process. Feeling everything burn inside his throat, his body, his head, and even his backside. Making things worse, some blood pooling around him seems to want to swallow the guy whole. At that, his wolves start moving forward. Except our boy quickly asks them to stay far away. After all, this is all just a part of his entire evolution process. And right at that moment, the massive blood swallows the boy completely. Poor little wolves, having no idea if their owner is alive or if he went straight to the lobby. Until all of a sudden, the shell of blood starts cracking open, finishing the ritual, and now the MC's eye looks exactly like the black dragon's eye. To make things even better, the guy walked out of there completely ripped, being a complete transformation and yielding a bonus way bigger than his previous upgrades. Thanks to that, the boy can already throw down with fist transformation hunters. Soon his stats shoot up 50%, and he gains the primordial black flame. Activating this flame, the MC quickly realizes it's the pure personification of total destruction. Being insanely powerful, he commands respect and the animals just bow down to him. Getting his hand ready, the boy announces he's going to test out these black flames. Snapping his fingers, a gigantic blaze shows up. And the damage is so absurd that not even Su Yang himself saw it coming. With that, the MC has to make a run for it, because the fire just won't stop growing. Escaping the cave by a hair to avoid going to the lobby along with everything inside. Using the black flame, there was a mistake, losing the blood secret, but serving as a good lesson. With the damage done, he opens the system fully focused on his class advancement. But, all of a sudden, he hears a cry for help with a very familiar voice. Changing the scene. The girl Zhan Yang already shows up completely beaten up, being chased by guys from level 90 to 99, way above her own level. Outraged, she curses the guys out and asks if they aren't afraid of the association. Not giving a damn, the villain says they're already blacklisted and don't fear the law out there. Soon, the leader mentions he's been hunting for 15 days, and found a girl all alone. Offering a tip as she cooperates, the girl refuses instantly, preferring to bite the dust. Out of nowhere, one of the thug's hands goes flying away. Totally lost, the leader can't process what just happened, since his hand just vanished. Arriving just in time, our MC had already heard rumors of these groups mugging adventurers. Boiling with rage, the leader orders everyone to attack Su Yang. Desperate, Zhan Yang screams for the boy to run, thinking he doesn't have the level for it. But he's definitely not lacking power, and against only 4 hunters, he doesn't even need much. Trying their luck, the enemies attack, but the MC dodges with the greatest of ease, making the embarrassment worse. He launches 3 of them into the air with just 1 kick. Taking advantage of the opening, the leader cowardly attacks him right in the back, giving 0 chances. He uses his dagger to completely shatter the villain's sword. Shocked, the thug doesn't get it since his weapon was platinum, and the kids looked way better. Noticing his power, the scumbag figures the boy is worth more than the hostage, loaded with loot. Hyping up the gang, everyone fully believes they're going to successfully strip the hero clean. Watching the scene, he comments on the guy's sheer greed, which is pretty ironic coming from him. Against this kind of scum that attacks women, he decides to show absolutely 0 mercy. With that, the sentence is crystal clear. They're all going to turn into a barbecue. Activating a devastating inferno using yet another power pulled right from the Black Dragon. Sending the villain straight to the lobby, they drop some very suspicious and peculiar items. Looking at the damage, he confirms the black flame is strong, making things very interesting. Checking on the girl, she just wants to know about his power, but he says it's a secret. Agreeing, she thanks him for the save and confesses she was a bit arrogant earlier. After thanking him, she asks her savior's name, who replies that he's Su Yang. Then, it clicks, and pure shock takes over because she had actually heard about him before, remembering that Enyu was bragging about the MC at a party after drinking a little too much. Thanks to that slip-up, everyone at the hangout now fully knows about the boy's existence. Cutting the conversation short, he asks about a return scroll and goes on his way. Confirming the item, she watches him leave and finds the guy interesting, falling for him. Standing before the statue, the system verifies the trials of magic, strength, and the hidden quest. Evolving, he completes the 3rd transformation, hitting level 80 as a warrior, unlocking the arcane biblical weapon, capable of nullifying absolutely any enemy magic. Also gaining the arcane armor, which alters 30% of all magical damage. Scoring the legendary dual cultivation as well, focusing on damage through strength points. With these bonuses, both his physical and magical damage skyrocket to totally absurd levels. Soon, Bai Ling sadly congratulates him, letting him know the next upgrade will be in another city. Getting sad just imagining being separated from her beloved Su Yang. Oddly enough, she just opened her mouth to complain and the statue started glowing out of nowhere. With that, The light goes straight to her, looking like a mysterious blessing from the statue itself, reminiscent of the blood blessing, leaving the doubt if the priestess is also evolving. Transcending as a 5th-class priestess, she'll also need to pack up and move to another city. Happy, the MC congratulates her, but she explains that her evolution works a bit differently. Wrapping up the chat, pure exhaustion hits hard and she falls right into the boy's arms to rest. Being a true gentleman, he tells her to take it easy since they'll be sticking together, heading together to the new city. It looks like our hero is building himself a nice little harem, spending quite some time locked inside that specific hall. Outside, the crowd is getting anxious, curious to know who the jerk taking forever inside is. Being our very own MC, carrying the priestess right in his arms just like in a romance movie, leaving the crowd totally pissed, since he held up the line locked in with the temple's beauty. Faced with the scene, everyone wonders exactly why the girl is completely passed out. Outraged, some guy blocks the MC's path, aggressively demanding some answers. Shutting him down, Su Yang shoots him that totally cold and threatening death glare. Feeling the weight of the threat, the nosy guy backs off real quick to avoid catching a free beating. Getting back on track, almost down the stairs, he hears someone calling out his name. Turning around, he sees the new priestess asking about his trip, and he confirms it while saying congrats. Smiling, she thanks him with a heavy heart about being away from her master and the boy. Turning on the charm, the hero promises frequent visits so they can grab some tea and chat. All giddy, the girl agrees, but deep down she still totally dreams of winning the hero's heart. Later on, they arrive in the big city, coming face to face with the imposing luxury temple. At the place, an old priestess says they'll take good care of Bai Ling until she wakes up. Getting the message, he leaves to focus on buying some property and taking care of his grandparents. Afterward, he sends a letter and an absolute mountain of cash to help out his family. Skipping ahead in time, he picks a luxury mansion that costs an incredible 9 million. Soon, the realtor offers a full staff for another million, totally guaranteeing his comfort. Without a second thought, the MC takes the deal and signs the papers right on the spot. Hours later, the big shot is already living it up in his brand new private swimming pool. Getting out of the water, his king-like routine continues with a really fancy dinner. Right after that, he heads over to relax in the jacuzzi, fully enjoying the easy life. Wrapping up the night, he goes to sleep in a gigantic bed, soaking in all the luxury. Reflecting on the money, he focuses on getting some sleep so he can check on Bai Ling the next day. Changing the scene, we go straight to our beloved priestess, finally waking up, even though she still seems to be pretty disoriented. Then, the granny lets her know she made some soup to help with her speedy recovery, thanking the old priestess, saying that she's already feeling a little bit better. Understanding, the old lady confesses that the statue hasn't reacted like that in many years. When it comes time to talk about the new hero, the old lady admits being very curious about the MC, having spent a lot of time with Su Yang. She asks for Bai Ling's honest opinion about him, replying right away that the boy works miracles, being super brave, strong, and totally resilient. Personally, we can even agree with that, except for that whole kind heart nonsense. Aside from that little detail, our boy really does have all those amazing qualities. Soon, the old lady says she completely trusts our priestess's excellent judgment, but warns that the blood moon has been up for days, meaning a really tense event is coming. Hearing that, Bai Ling realizes she had completely forgotten about that massive detail. Wasting no time, she tells the old priestess that she's going straight to find the hero. But, out of nowhere, she drops to her knees and starts praying, leaving us wondering how she'll warn him. However, in the middle of the prayer, she simply wishes from the bottom of her heart that the MC is safe. Watching the girl's agony, the old lady notices her totally obvious look of being deeply in love. Resting peacefully, our MC is getting his well-deserved beauty sleep. But suddenly, he hears a loud crash and gets up to see what the heck is going on. Running outside, he asks the maid what exactly is happening at the mansion. Quickly, the woman lets him know that a monster just showed up around there, being the giant executioner, a highly mysterious boss from the demon clan. Annoyed, he warns the beast that he made way too much noise on a really bad mood day. So, the invader is going to have to brace himself and face the harsh consequences. Then, the boy hears the sound of a horse approaching. Looking closely, it's Miss Liu asking if he's the specific target of the blood moon. Staring at the boy with a look of pure disgust, she orders him to back away right now, warning that the kid doesn't stand a single chance against that massive monster. Soon, she herself will be the one responsible for handling the whole blood moon mess. Totally lost, the MC asks what this crazy invasion story is all about, being arrogant. The girl replies that she has absolutely no obligation to explain anything. If he really wants to know, he can go look for gossip from someone else. Focused on the danger, she shows some concern and summons her trusty tiger. With that, the tiger and the demon face off, kicking off a totally brutal fight. Watching it all, the hero thinks the fight is cool, but they are completely destroying his house. Joking around, he asks if they can't take it easy or just wrap this up quickly. Right at that moment, the beloved priestess finally arrives on the scene, surprising anyone who thought she was just going to pray, walking straight up to the MC. And, to everyone's surprise, she immediately goes in for a tight hug on the boy. Sitting down right after, she says she saw the blood moon and remembered to warn him. Calming the girl down, he says everything is totally fine and asks her to explain it properly, explaining that the blood moon brings a terrifying monster called the Scarlet Decay, attacking any hunter who has already gone through 3 entire transformations. On top of that, their single purpose is to send the hunters straight to the lobby for good, with all this absolute chaos being known as the Blood Moon Invasion. Making matters worse, getting sent to the lobby by this monster means no respawning. Continuing, she lets him know this only happens after the hunter's 3rd class upgrade, taking the blame for forgetting to explain all this right after his recent evolution. Playing it cool, he finds it weird the beast is so strong for a 3rd advancement. In theory, jumping all the way from the 3rd to the 5th transformation would be impossible, so the only logical explanation is that the monster's strength scales dynamically. Confirming the theory, the demon tanks a whole lot and makes an absolutely absurd mess. Even Miss Lu finds it weird that the beast is so strong, totally breaking the usual pattern. Saying this, the MC tells them to stop because they are completely destroying his entire house. Stepping up to the plate, he decides to handle it all alone to cut down on the property damage. Annoyed, she warns him that she won't step in to help if he ends up getting his butt kicked. Activating his aura, the boy tells her to just stand there and watch the show. Wasting no time, he charges right in and starts attacking the giant creature. Soon, he activates his shadow form and gets right up on the boss's head. Using the spectral mark, he lands an attack that drops the beast down to 40%. Shocked, Lu doesn't understand how he took off 60% of its health in a single strike. Being completely impossible normally, everything played out exactly as the MC had figured. Since the strength scales with the target, the beast dropped to its 3rd form against the boy. But the hero facing a monster of his own level creates an absolutely brutal gap in power, super overpowered. The proof of that is the punch that sends the monster flying far away. Even being a heavy hit, it wrecked the house even more, giving him a huge headache. Tired of getting beaten up, the demon snaps and charges full speed right at him. Then things get real, activating another skill and winding up a fierce dragon flame punch. With that massive impact, half of the demon's arm simply vanishes into thin air, sending the level 75 executioner to the lobby, scoring 114,000 XP. Impressed, Bai Ling can't believe he solved such a massive problem so incredibly fast. And even Miss Lu finds the brutal speed weird, being totally forced to admit his strength. Even so, mounted on her horse, she yells at him not to celebrate his victory prematurely. Poor MC, just watching without a clue why this crazy girl is talking to herself. Pulling out a newly dropped crystal core, he asks if this was what Lu was looking for. Curious, he asks the priestess to explain the special item, and she confirms how rare it is. But before she can even finish, a gigantic portal suddenly pops up right in front of our hero, bringing a pressure so absurd that it drops the boy to his knees, unable to control his own body. Desperate, the priestess tries to run over to him, but unfortunately it was already too late. Skipping ahead in time, we see the boy wearing some sort of mask to catch his breath. Except it wasn't a mask. The slick guy had his face buried right in 2 beautiful pillows, giving him a pass since it wasn't on purpose. Because even he was surprised by the situation. Confused, he asks what is going on, and the priestess tells him to just stay calm, explaining that he got cursed the night before, requiring an immediate purification. Not understanding the method, he asks about it, and she says it's her duty to care for the infected hero. Justifying the awkwardness, she says the purification needs to be done really up close and personal. Dodging the awkward vibe, he understands but notices Bai Ling coughing with a mark on her neck. Worried, he asks about the mark, but she reassures him saying it'll fade away in just 2 days. Being romantic, the boy asks her not to push herself too hard, not wanting to see her get hurt. Hiding her embarrassment, Bai Ling quickly explains the perks of his 3rd class transformation, starting with a 1 billion salary, a 50% discount, and full access to the brand new shop. Noticing the boy's confusion, she details that he just needs to touch the statue and trade the cores. Being in a rush, he flies to the temple right away, discovering spells and a true divine artifact. Loving those spells, but right now he only has 3 cores and the cheapest one costs 300. Cutting the hype short, Bai Ling goes back to her duties and he decides to go fix up his house. Shifting to downtown, we see the arrival of Makako, a level 125 beast tamer. Welcomed by Lei Shan, the team focuses on the Black Dragon, fearing no prodigy like Miss Lu. While the old man makes a smooth excuse and bails, Lu herself watches it all right next to Zhou Tai. Bringing up his file, strategist Zhou Tai warns that Su Yang evolved in a truly terrifying way. Seeing the data, Lu is forced to admit being a little scared of the boy, even with his lower level. Making things worse, Makiko proves she's a threat by giving a sarcastic little wave to her hidden rival. Mounting her horse, she orders everyone to gather to head to the dragon's lair in just half an hour. While they gear up over there, the crew overhears giving our MC's house a major makeover. Being pretty bossy, the hero just barks orders, building a giant wall that absolutely nobody understands. Then, the system alerts him about invaders in the area, and obviously he absolutely loves a good brawl. Giving a little wave to the maids, he lets them know he's going to solve a little problem and will be right back. Quickly connecting to the Black Dragon, needing to completely crush a guild of 24 players. Activating his ocular skills, he quickly notices that the invader is Lu along with her entire group. Full of motivation, the girl shouts that if they tame the dragon, their massive reward is totally guaranteed. Super confident, he promises to make the arrogant girl pay for all the house repairs with interest right now. But it won't be that simple, since the group arrived well prepared and loaded with top-tier gear. Out of nowhere, two random guys show up asking the king to leave the pesky intruders to them. Finding that pretty weird after all, he has absolutely no idea who the heck these two guys even are. Soon, Lilith explains that monsters drank his blood in the past and actually managed to evolve. However, the other monsters that drank the blood went totally crazy and took on a very sketchy look, frustrating his plan to build an army but gaining two loyal lackeys with the power of the dragon. Knowing that potential, the boy orders the duo B1 and B2 to go intercept the incoming enemies. After giving the order, he notices Lilith looking bothered and asks why, but the elf plays it off. Thinking it over, the heroes are pretty strong and could easily send the dragon straight to the lobby. Getting back to the brawl, the crew stays hyped, beating the crap out of the monsters along the way, but pushing forward with extreme caution so things don't get super ugly like they did last time. Being totally chill, Lu doesn't get the tension, since the smaller monsters are still incredibly weak. Right behind her, Zhou Tai agrees but asks for caution, and then a totally sinister explosion happens. Serving as punishment, the big duo B1 and B2 finally arrive to crash the party. Charging in, Lu announces she's got it under control, saying it'll be a breeze to send them to the lobby. Quickly, the first monster takes a heavy beating to the neck and drops dead straight to the ground. But soon, B2 enters rage mode, evolving its physical traits to an absolutely absurd level. Making things worse, the giant beast summons an army of lackeys, making the vibe feel incredibly heavy. At that, the girl realizes she'll need to jump into the fight, relying on a whole lot of backup. Focusing on that strategy, the entire team charges into the attack with pure bloodlust in their eyes. Right as about to, Falcon lands a dead center strike right on the big guy's neck. Then the rest of the team attacks, with Zhou Tai jumping up to hammer right on the beast's head. However, Lu warns them not to finish the dragon off, needing him alive by just a single thread. Even looking defeated, B1 and B2 stay on the battlefield, pretty beat up, but still breathing. Being super confident, Lu explains they are still dragons and wants to test out taming the beasts. Right at that exact moment, the taming enchantment finally begins to take hold. Showing off her cockiness, she orders the creature to bow down and become her brand new power. With that, the situation gets complicated as the dragon stands up completely hypnotized. Seeing this screw-up, the other dragon yells for his partner to wake up and not get completely fooled. Watching it all, the hero finds the invasion outrageous and promises to hand the girl a double beating. But, analyzing the enemies, he realizes he'll need to swallow rotten meat to level up by pure force. Getting totally desperate, Lilith finds it disgusting and forbids her master from eating that gross sludge. Having no other way to avoid going to the lobby, he just wolfs the bizarre snack down anyway. Soon, the elf gags just from looking at it but ends up asking how the strange delicacy actually tastes. Being totally honest, the dragon replies that the taste is awful, disgusting, and smells just like a sewer. But even with the terrible snack, the slick hero already kicks off his entire evolution process. With that, the transformation energy is so absurd that it literally starts tearing the sky wide open. Being such a bizarre power level that even the team all the way down below can see the bright flash. Feeling the impact of the light, even Bichu regains his sanity and remembers his one true king. Looking up from below, Lu feels that crushing pressure, finding the whole crazy situation super weird, trying to make sense of the giant silhouette taking shape, even though everyone already knows what it is. being none other than Athos, the beloved black dragon in his absolute true form. But now the giant monster has simply reached the absolutely absurd radiant moon level. Consolidating his power, Su Yang hits the incredible milestone of level 150. Right after that, there's our MC standing completely face-to-face with all of his enemies, showing a lot of cockiness. Some guy finds it funny that the boss levels up every time they invade. Then the crew quickly turns to Miss Lu and asks what exactly they are supposed to do now. Getting absolutely no answer, the poor girl thinks the dungeon glitched the dragon's level by mistake. Obviously, he doesn't like being called a glitch and already winds up his absolutely crazy skill. Noticing his moves, Zhou Tai orders the crew to fully activate all their defensive skills, starting that same old routine of shields and heals that in the end won't do a damn thing. Right after that, the hero unleashes his power, causing a gigantic explosion across the entire place. Being at the radiant moon level, the damage is absurd and sends several of them to the lobby instantly. Getting pretty scared, Zhou Tai notes that 10 members went to the lobby in the blink of an eye. Luckily, everyone had the resurrection ring that the butler mentioned a while back. Respawning right on the spot, the crew is stubborn and decides to keep fighting the giant beast. Soon, Lu summons some beasts thinking the dragon is vulnerable right after his massive area attack. Right as a squad beats the crap out of the hero, but being vulnerable just isn't his style. Riding her bird, Miss Lu decides to attack straight from above. Looking down, the girl frustratedly notices that the team isn't leaving a single scratch on the beast. Soon, Zhou Tai grumbles that the weakening clan failed and things got really ugly. During the tension, Lu warns that the radiant moon boss's aura is already weakening everyone. Making things worse, he's dead right, with Su Yang already winding up another brutal skill, trying to put up a defense, but things got complicated because it was already way too late. Desperate, the healer warns of the casualty, but Liu tells them to just accept their ticket to the lobby. Totally lost, Lu can't understand how the dragon sends the team to the lobby in a single hit, jumping in front. Zhou Tai tells the girl to run, but she puts her foot down to stay, pushing back. The strategist explains that running away is the only way to minimize their losses. Feeling hesitant, the girl knows the strategist is right and there's absolutely nothing left to do. Faced with the facts, she gets on her horse and tries to flee, but the MC already caught onto her escape. Acting as bait, Zhou Tai pulls out a skill to grab the giant monster's attention. Quickly, the boy notices the team is biting the dust just so the princess can run away in peace. With that, the dragon accepts the sacrifice and unleashes another devastating attack on the guys. As the dust settles, the girl runs away, unable to believe she lost in such a shameful way. Reflecting on the radiant moon level, she concludes that not even her rivals would stand a chance there. Suddenly, the poor girl takes a hit out of nowhere and goes straight to the ground along with her horse. In shock, the girl realizes her mistake, since Zhou Tai didn't hold the monster off for even a single minute. Trying one last trick to escape, she summons her creatures one more time. Unfortunately, the situation had already gone down the drain, and it was way too late to react. At that, our hero already caught up to the runaway and pinned her down good. Fishing for info, the dragon warns they'll pay for the audacity of invading his territory. At that exact moment, the MC is left completely clueless about what's going on right in front of him. Defeated, the girl cries, afraid of letting her dad down and failing her dream of becoming a tamer. Feeling bad, the big monster says he understands but charges a toll without turning her into dinner. To ease the pain, he grants her a pain-free express ticket straight to the lobby. Letting out a breath, he sends the girl to the lobby, making her lose levels and expensive items. Then, a shiny item quickly pops up, catching our hero's attention right in front of him. Pinging 31 million points, the system levels the boy up to 79. Obviously, the dragon levels up too, being the biggest chunk of XP the hero has ever scored. Thanks to the dragon essence, the feeling is of a colossal power about to explode right there. However, the points only gave him 7 levels, requiring much tougher enemies from now on. Checking the dropped loot, he notices that platinum or diamond items just don't cut it for him anymore. To his joy, there's still that sweet loot from Lu glowing right on the ground now, being nothing less than a pure and totally insane radiant moon level ring. Boasting absurd stats, it grants 600 spirit and 40 resistance. Bringing even more perks, the ring has an unlimited gem that completely nullifies any level requirement. Unexpectedly, the system pops another shiny reward right in the kid's face, revealing the forbidden scroll of the wind god, proving that Lu was a walking treasure chest. Enjoying the terror of his dragon form, he turns back to normal, making any new invasions impossible. Finishing the job, the boy calmly heads back to the lair, being closely watched by Lilith. Amazed, the elf mentions the expected victory, bringing up the promise of true freedom. With the dungeon wipe complete, the hero returns to the comfort of his home in the city. Arriving home, he notices the fixed wall but finds the job weird and way too small. Tired from the shift, he crashes on the couch and immediately demands a massage to recharge. While he rests like a king, the scene cuts back to the entrance of the dragon's dungeon. Outside, the teen cries their eyes out, complaining about the giant monster's evolutions. Stressed out, Joe Tai tells the squad to shut up and asks about Miss Jia Yu. At that, the trio has no clue, thinking she met the same fate as the defeated necromancer. And, during the chat, Joe Tai hears some muffled sobs right nearby. Following the sound, he finds the little princess curled up behind a rock, crying her eyes out. Totally devastated, she mutters that she was ready to tame the dragon, but lost terribly. Noticing the vibe, Joe Tai coughs to let her know he's there, and she immediately snaps back annoyed. Keeping his cool, he tries to report their losses, but she cuts the conversation short right away. Trying to cheer his boss up, he explains that losing to a Radiant Moon boss is absolutely no shame. Thinking about it, she realizes that taming a similar beast before her rivals secures her title. Remembering that Longxia is home to other stellar dragons, perfect to become her brand new pets. Getting hyped up, she praises her teammates' excellent strategic vision. Regaining her confidence, she gets up and tells the strategist to run down the list of losses. Right at the moment, someone pops out of nowhere asking who that crowd gathered there is. Being Makiko, wanting to confirm if the girl right in front of her is the famous Miss Liu. Soon, the little princess confirms who she is and finds out the new group wants to tame the dragon. Being cocky as always, she walks by with her nose in the air and wishes them a sarcastic good luck. Outraged by the mockery, Makiko's assistant is totally disgusted by her lack of manners. Connecting the dots, the assistant figures the snob got her butt kicked by the black dragon. Avoiding trouble, Makiko smacks her assistant on the head, telling her to focus on the goal. Getting a bump on her head, the assistant swallows her complaint and agrees to move on. Just a few steps later, the team freezes seeing that the level went all the way up to Radiant Moon. Totally in shock, the group panics and decides to call Mr. Lee right on the spot. Over the phone, the old man confirms the error and advises the squad to just head back home. Hanging up, the elder burns his brain cells, suspecting that someone is pulling the strings from behind. Luckily for the MC, the mystery won't be revealed anytime soon, skipping ahead to the very next day. Walking peacefully, he notices the empty dungeon, since nobody dares to step foot in there right now. Having the field all to himself, the boy goes in as a player to face the copy of his own dragon. Heading straight into action, we already see the hero entering the danger zone of the giant monster's lair. Exuding pure confidence, he pushes forward and quickly gets a warm welcome from the local guardians. Thirsty for battle, the dungeon monsters charge like absolute maniacs right at the boy. Ready for combat, Su Yang activates his abyssal powers to strike right back at them. Soon, a scary black aura explodes from him, covering his body with an incredibly strong presence. Paralyzed by shock, the monsters freeze, feeling the exact same energy as Lord Athos. Added to the aura, the black flames prove that it is the authentic power of their true master. Wasting no time, the MC tells the beast to get lost, and they obey him right on the spot. Shaking in their boots, they apologize to the boss and run away so they don't turn into barbecue. With the path clear, the hero takes the chance and summons his very own pack of wolves. Soon he orders the wolves to stand guard, ready to scare off any nosy intruders. But right after that, our boy simply starts to teleport. However, from the looks of it, the slick guy ended up going straight into the boss's own body. At that, Lilith gets upset with no news of her freedom, completely distrusting the monster. Wasting no time, the giant beast heads straight to where the two wolves are standing. Confused, the wolves smell their master on the dragon, thinking he actually got swallowed whole. But soon, the dragon hurts itself, leaving the wolves totally clueless about what's going on. Being the MC inside the beast's body, he hurts himself down to half health to make the plan work. Almost finishing the link, he orders the dragon to stay put and hold off on its regeneration. Right after that, the kid simply disconnects from the beast's body. Seeing the hero return, a wolf is relieved he's alive and didn't bite the dust. Walking, he remembers the dragon pulled him out of the weak class, getting a little emotional. But now that a new path has opened up, it's time to keep his head high and keep moving forward. Charging right at Athos, his aura turns into a dragon, showing exactly how strong he's become. After an insanely tense brawl, a whole hour passes by on the clock. Hitting the beast so much, the MC can't even feel his own hand anymore. But it's so close to the end, with the dragon sitting at just 19% health. With that, the kid gets the difficulty, since without his stats, he wouldn't even scratch the boss. That's alright because there's just a little bit left and he wants to end this suffering right now. A short while later, Lilith wakes up startled, hearing a massive roar from the dragon. Running outside, the elf princess notices the dark clouds are finally clearing up. Looking at the horizon, she notices the monster's aura is gone, thinking it actually bit the dust. Explaining exactly how that happened, the scene cuts right back to our beloved MC. Full of confidence, the boy announces that this really was the end of the line for the beast. Raking in millions of experience points, he levels up from 79 straight to 80. Right after he comes face to face with the weapon the dragon dropped, being a super rare item. Killing his curiosity, he grabs the sword and lifts it up, real quick. Pulling the blade out, he already feels a colossal energy radiating like pure wild power. Coming loaded with bonuses, the weapon forged from Athos's bones absorbs the target's stats. During a basic test, the kid immediately unleashes a quick slash right into the air. With just that casual move, he manages to open up a literal crater in the ground. Honestly, not even he expected all that raw power from the incredibly overpowered sword. Besides the new weapon, he finished the quest and pocketed the Dragon Slayer's heart, confirming he got the item. It now gives him way more strength and extra damage against dragons. Finding it all amazing, it's finally time for that juicy final reward. Then, the system announces the boss's defeat and instantly spawns a brand new elite minion for him. From here on out, the dragon will fight right by the MC's side, showing he truly tamed the beast. Calmly hopping on the beast's back, Suyang asks Athos to fly straight back to the fortress. Following his brand new master's order, the dragon flaps its wings and takes off into the sky. Changing scenes, Lilith notices the dragons are gone. Knowing Athos went straight to the lobby. Suddenly, the princess spots a silhouette in the sky that looks exactly like Athos himself. Getting confused after all, hadn't the giant monster just bit the dust a second ago? Squinting her eyes, the elf notices a cocky human riding right on Athos's back. Arriving in style, the hero holds out his hand and asks the beautiful princess to tag along. Totally shocked, Lilith asks if he tames the dragon, and the boy quickly confirms it. Feeling like a fever dream to the elf, since incredibly strong mages completely failed to tame the boss. Wondering who the heck the hero could be. Maybe the legendary Dragon Slayer in disguise. Holding his hand out, the MC asks if the princess is going to just stand there or hop on. With nowhere else to run, the girl finally decides to climb aboard. As soon as she gets settled on the mount, the dragon gains altitude and starts flying far away, breaking the ice. The MC tells her she can open her eyes now to enjoy the view. Honestly, the intention was good, but that completely wrecked landscape doesn't look pretty at all. Changing the subject, the boy asks how it feels to finally get a taste of pure freedom. Totally happy, she replies that it feels like breaking free from heavy chains, feeling incredibly light. Remembering the promise, she suspects the dragon itself set it all up just to get out of there. Thanking him with a bow, the princess says she couldn't imagine the pain the monster itself felt. Then, the hero lets Athos know they're at the exit and tells him to speed up the flight. Outside the lair, some creatures are taking a beating and just wandering around the area. Right at that moment, a massive black shadow swallows the whole place, looking just like a storm. Looking up, everyone notices the boy coming out of the dungeon, showing off his brand new beast. Landing in style, Athos lets out a massive roar, just to assert dominance over the entire area. Apologizing for the dramatic entrance, Lilith thinks he looks exactly like a true villain. Soon the princess asks where they're going, and he suggests the city to send her back to the elves. Rejecting the idea, she shyly asks to follow him, since she swore to marry the hero. Remembering those classic fairy tales, the MC knows he's going to have to put up with the elf. Changing the subject, she asks about the dragon, and the boy just blurts out that it's a secret. Then, the story shifts right back to the city, with Athos's loud roar echoing everywhere. Hearing the noise from afar, Lucifer is surprised to see the dragon completely bypassing the barrier. Feeling the ground shake, Makiko quickly realizes that it's an authentic, real dragon's roar. Calling a guard, she asks for permission to go take a quick peek up ahead. Soon the guard clears the way so they can check out all the commotion up close. Back at the dungeon, Lilith wants to run away, but the boy asks her to hold on for a minute. Pointing straight ahead, he shows the princess that the local welcoming committee has officially arrived. At that, the entire city runs over to see the giant monster, including the Lord himself. Getting there, the crowd can't even believe the dreaded boss actually left his domain. But hopping off the creature, the MC already drops a casual greeting to Lord Jia. Getting confused, the Lord questions it, and the butler reveals that Su Yang is a temple VIP. With his jaw on the floor, Wei Ming asks about the beast, and the MC confirms it straight up. Sweating bullets, the Lord doubts the absurdity and asks the kid to prove the whole story. Soon, our hero gives a command, and the beast lets out a truly terrifying roar. Shaking with fear, Lilith complains, while the Lord finally notices the princess standing there. Deep in thought, the leader figures the boy must actually be a deity in disguise, but quickly tosses the idea, wondering just how incredibly powerful this tamer really is. Getting dizzy with so many theories, the Lord ends up tripping right over his own feet, falling straight to his knees on the ground, right in front of our very own MC. Freezing right there, he decides to stay on the floor to show some respect to the deity. Being totally chill, the boy reaches out to help him up, completely tossing the formalities aside. And right now the system announces that the very first stage of the boss quest is completed. Regaining his composure, the Lord formally introduces himself, getting super curious about the boy. Then, the butler whispers that they didn't receive a single heads up about a VIP visit. Quickly, Makiko pops up like lightning, asking if she can join in on the conversation. Introducing herself, the tamer fishes for info, trying to uncover his totally secret tips, but quickly facepalms, realizing the huge blunder of asking for a true master's secrets. Then, the MC throws a wet blanket on it and calmly lets her know he's not a tamer, leaving everyone in absolute shock, unable to understand how he doesn't belong to the class. Explaining he uses a secret method, he asks the Lord to give the local people a heads up. Agreeing on the spot, the leader says he'll deploy the guards to spread the word right away. With that, Makiko asks for permission to tell her master all about the hero's epic feats. Explaining the situation, the Lord points out that her master must be a pretty big deal. Bursting with pride, she proudly confirms that her master is a genuine supreme leader. Knowing their power, our MC has absolutely zero patience to stick around giving little lessons. Cutting the chat short, he announces he has some very important business to handle right now. And right at that moment, the gigantic dragon takes flight. Arriving in the city, the boy flies incredibly low, passing right next to Miss Lu, making absolutely sure the girl totally notices his grand presence flying around there. Seeing the scene, she confirms the black dragon was tamed, and the jealousy hits her really hard, but she knows she'll need to sweat bullets in her training to overcome this massive shock, promising to train hard to get super strong and prove she's the best tamer out there. And right before the hero arrived, the Lord had already issued the warning to the entire city, showing off the reptile's colossal size, casting a huge shadow over all the buildings in town, sparking an absolute gossip festival on the streets about the dragon's insane flyby. A little while later, right after that, the duo touches down at our MC's very own mansion, but the boy arrives causing pure terror, almost sending the poor maid straight to the lobby. But, lacking the official tamer class, he doesn't have enough inventory space to store the dragon. At that, he asks if Lilith will get used to the place, and the princess confirms, all hyped up. Soon, the MC tells her to pick absolutely any room, since he has some business to take care of. Thinking to himself, he notes the princess is pretty chill, totally blowing the spoiled girls out of the water. After a shower, he locks himself in his room to finally check out his brand new boss. Asking the system, he finds out the monster is a divine-level sovereign, with the rules being that the system changes every 50 levels after the 5th evolution, and whoever passes the god's trial climbs the 99 steps until they turn divine. So, the big question hangs in the air about what insane reward our boy is actually going to score. To put an end to the mystery, activating his abyssal connection, and the terrifying figure of the Sovereign of Original Sin appears, bringing some seriously overpowered skills, which will be revealed bit by bit to keep the suspense alive. Analyzing the talents, he realizes he needs to annihilate all the demons to actually win. Studying the big boss, the MC quickly asks for intel on this so-called demonic abyss. Promptly, the system states the place is a massive rift connected throughout the entire human world. Down there, adventurers can farm tons of experience, but the difficulty is an absolute nightmare. Oddly enough, the highest record stopped at floor 386 of exploration. Even teaming up incredibly strong guilds, nobody came close to finding the dreaded final boss. This really defends the boss, leaving the doubt of when he'll ever manage to clear the place out. Brushing that aside, the boy focuses on the empty thrones of the 7 kings of sin. Looking closely, some of those seats glow with weird little runes. The 3 of them have absolutely no energy, indicating those demons were already defeated before. Thinking fast, he takes the chance to test out his skill to resurrect fallen allies. Giving the divine command, the creature quickly starts coming right back into the world, respawning as Beelzebub, the sin of gluttony, who came back ugly and completely lacking any respect. Crawling over to the MC, the monster drops to his knees, thanking him for bringing him back. However, the creature is so incredibly weak that it became a total disgrace to the demon's reputation, being an absolute disappointment that the monster hands over 2% of its power as a tribute, and since this profit goes straight into the boy's pockets, he'll be able to farm a ton of experience. Right in the middle of his lecture, someone starts knocking like crazy on his royal bedroom door, trying to wrap things up. He orders Beelzebub to go back to his floor and stop screwing up. Soon, the lackey gets sent to floor 100 and the kid realizes he picked the absolute weakest king, unable to dodge this surprise visit, quickly cutting the connection with the abyss, screwing up big time and ruining the coolest part of uncovering everything about his new boss. With the voice outside calling out, the kid replies, really wishing he had a little more time. Opening the door, the mate nervously announces that the Lord came to visit him in person. Being impossible to just ignore the leader, he heads down the stairs for the big meeting, breathing a sigh of relief. Wei Ming jokes, saying he finally decided to show up in the living room. Confused by the rush, the MC questions it, leaving the Lord outraged by his total cluelessness. After all, taming the dragon went totally viral, and the Tamers Association sent a master over. Getting spooked by the news, he asks when this so-called authority figure is going to show up. Meanwhile, at the city's transport terminal, things have already spun totally out of control, with the guards screaming at the top of their lungs for the crowd to clear the way right now. All this just to announce the arrival of the guild's big shot, making everyone step aside. Being Elder Lo, a humble old man who greets absolutely everyone and apologizes. In the crowd, Miss Lu greets him and the master notices she just came out of pure curiosity. Looking down, the girl admits it and accepts that her title of the ultimate tamer is gone. Full of wisdom, the old man advises her to focus on her true goal being there, since the guild just uncovered a brand new passage leading straight to a secret dragon realm, with the catch being that to get in, owning a dragon is mandatory. A perk reserved for only 2 people. Luckily, the other person blessed with this was Verlia. Hailing straight from the Eagle Federation. Hyped, Elder Lo announces the portal is opening, noticing the girl really wants the dragon. Reassuring the young lady, the old man guarantees her access and invites her to meet the tamer. Making up a quick excuse, the girl bails so she doesn't embarrass herself around the genius. Changing the scene, the crew in the boys' living room hears a weird sound getting closer. Looking out the window, they notice that the guild's so-called elder is about to touch down. To make matters worse, the group wasn't the only one noticing that giant bird coming in fast. Acting as a guard dog, the black dragon lifts his head and lets out an incredibly loud roar. Hearing the boom, the poor bird completely panics and cowardly flees straight back into the sky. At that, the MC calms his dragon down, and the old man hops off, comforting his terrified bird. The second the old man touches the ground, the Lord does the honors and formally introduces the kid. Amazed, the elder calls the boy a rare genius, but our hero claims it was just pure luck. Cutting the chat short, the old man tells him to be proud and drops the invite to the association. Feeling awkward, the NC lets him know he doesn't have the tamer class to actually join them. Trying to gloss over it, the old man calls it just silly paperwork until it finally clicks for real. Shocked by the reveal, he asks the kid to repeat that whole story about not being a tamer. Putting the doubts to rest, the hero shows his system and rubs his warrior class right in his face. Left completely speechless, the old man excuses himself to hit up his contacts back at headquarters, sending a report in the private chat. He lets them know the genius isn't a real tamer at all. Faced with the chaos, President Carolina suggests turning the boy into an honorary member instead. Walking back with a smile, the old guy offers the VIP spot, but the MC gets suspicious and asks the price. Downplaying the cost, the old man just asks for a single lecture for 10 of their top leaders, but the perks on the table look super tempting, putting the young guy in a really tough spot. Accepting the deal, he warns he won't be very educational, and the elder quickly calms him down. Flashing a slick smile, he agrees, already scheming up the total nonsense he'll use to stall everyone. Meanwhile, right at the top of the sacred city sits the headquarters of the Transformation Temple, where the highest figure of authority on Earth resides, the High Priestess herself. Being Euphemia Vega, a highly dangerous woman surrounded by total mysteries about her true power, having very few historical records of her strength. The biggest one took place about 10 years ago. Back then, the dreaded Mage Augustus, leader of a super-strong guild, challenged her head-on. Hitting the demigod level, the mage decided to clash directly with her to put the priestess to the test. But he didn't even break her defensive shield, making the whole world totally fear her ever since. Back to the present. The statue blares a warning about the unexpected return of the monster Beelzebub. Getting confused, she knows bosses of that level just don't respawn without some highly dangerous magic. Knowing things just got ugly, she starts praying, asking the statue for a holy blessing. Receiving the Eye of Perception, she gains the power to snoop on absolutely any place in the world. And with that, Euphemia peeks straight down into the depths of the demonic abyss. Taking a look around, she analyzes the ancient throne of the 7 kings of sin. Theoretically, those kings were supposed to be defeated, but the throne of gluttony started glowing again. Focusing her sight, the magic down there is so sinister that it completely blocks her tracking spell. Playing hardball, the priestess orders the creature to reveal itself before her pure sacred light. Seeing the shape in the dark, she spots a human, leaving the lingering doubt if it's actually our boy. But out of nowhere, one of the kings of sin just pops up right behind her back. With zero ceremony, the entity demands to know who dares to spy on the great supreme king of the place, actually being the goddess Lucifer, the divine-level sin of pride standing right there. Going straight for the overkill, the demoness is the first to unleash her powerful special move. Unable to tank the hit, Euphemia gets violently ejected straight back to her temple instantly, having her highly coveted eye of perception completely shattered in that exact magical moment. Left completely clueless, Lucifer figures the priestess just ran away like a total coward. Kneeling right before the king, the goddess begs for forgiveness and announces she chased the spy away. Taking advantage of the moment, she turns on the charm, asking when she'll see his face again. Meanwhile, Euphemia wakes up on the temple floor, totally shocked that such an overpowered divine being exists. Realizing that the kings still worship a supreme being, leaving the big question of exactly who that might be. Cutting the mood short, a massive flash pops up on the screen, delivering a global announcement to absolutely everyone, warning the world about a brand new world boss, the monarch of the 7 deadly sins himself, informing that beating the boss drops exclusive weapons, while also showing the leader Carolina. Right after that, the Mage Augustus shows up, and the system warns that those weapons are absolutely essential there. Cutting over to Tongzhan, the system explains that beating the boss fully unlocks the divine ascension. Obviously, all this chatter spreads like wildfire and quickly reaches absolutely everyone's ears, reaching our boy, who has now been officially classified as the brand new world boss. Faced with the mess, the elder says his goodbyes to talk later, and the MC totally agrees. Then, Bai Ling walks up looking super worried about the anomalies that just keep popping up everywhere. Trying to calm her down, our MC promises that he will always be right there to protect her. But deep down he knows things are about to get really ugly with all the guilds wanting to hunt the boss. Getting curious, he realizes that the kings of sin are the ones dropping those absolutely absurd weapons, leaving the big question. If he defeats the kings himself, will those weapons drop straight for him? Did you like it? Want the next part? Then smash that like button.